Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Probably Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Culture, Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
To rock. We are ready to roll on a beautiful Thursday. Welcome aboard to the show. Coming to you live from beautiful Toyota of Hollywood, like we do it every Thursday here on the show. Plenty of things to talk about. It's a Heat night, isn't it? Because Heat are back in action tonight. Game 2 in a contest that we're all hoping that they can take a 2-0 lead. We know this is going to be a hell of a series. That's why I went with the Heat in 7 in this one, because I think it's going to be a flat-out war. But if Miami somehow wins today, that would put them in the driver's seat. Nothing's for sure. We've watched the Denver Nuggets already come back twice from 3-1, right? So we can't take anything for granted at this point in time. But tonight, man, if somehow or another they're able to pull it off, that'll be absolutely phenomenal if they're able to do it. And
we are undefeated when we're 2-0 in the playoffs. You know that?
Yeah.
Not that, you know, that's past, blah, but it bodes well. And I think the Celts are 2-13 all time when they're down 0-2.
Well, anybody that's down 0-2 is down.
Yeah, the deck is, you've stacked the deck against you too hard, man.
That's normal. If you're down 0-2, that's going to be a problem for any team out there. And so it's interesting because, and I think it's starting to rear its ugly head again, the whole asterisk thing. And I'm going to stay consistent. Before the bubble started, I said you deserve 2 crowns if you're able to get through all of this, because you start the season, then you stop it for 4 months, and now you're put in a bubble for a couple of months, and you've got to have the mental toughness to get through all of this. And I'll stay with that because, you know, there are people out there now that, well, Milwaukee and the Clippers got eliminated. Is there an asterisk now because some of the better teams got eliminated? And here's where I would challenge all of those folks out there. The teams that are playing now and left are the more mentally tough teams left in the NBA. And so that's what I'm saying about the Clippers. They weren't mentally tough. You know, they might have had the best talent top to bottom. I thought they were going to win the title. I thought it was Clippers, Lakers in the Western Conference Finals like pretty much everybody else did. I thought Clippers would advance. And it should be Clippers-Milwaukee, right, is what I thought it would be, like, you know, most people. And the Heat go and eliminate Milwaukee, and now the Clippers get eliminated by the Denver Nuggets, and people are supposed to now start talking, well, some of the better teams got eliminated. Well, that's their problem. And where I tell you that I'm going to add even more to the double crown of whoever wins the title this year, because the thing I think people aren't looking at is there are no advantages anymore. You don't get to go home to a packed Staples Center, okay, or whatever the Bucks arena is called. I know it used to be the Bradley Center when it was the older arena. I forgot what the new one is. Or the AAA. Miami, the Heat doesn't get to go back to the confines of the AAA with 20,000 maniacs screaming for them, and they're great at home. They got a great home record. They're not great on the road, but they were great at home. So all of a sudden, we take out all the advantages. Denver's mile-high altitude, everything. Everything is taken out. And so now it's mano-a-mano. It's coach versus coach. That's what we're down to. So if Doc Rivers can't make any adjustments and he watches his team take a 3-1 lead, a 3-2 lead, a 3-3 tie, and then a 4-3 loss, well, dude, that's your problem, coach. So what, you needed to be in L.A. to win? You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting how, convenience and laziness, and then people, and again, it's a 24-hour cycle. People have got to talk. People have got to fill the time. So they've got to come up with all these stupid things like this, like an asterisk now, if whoever's left. And whoever's left are the better teams. Boston and Miami have proven they are the best teams in the East. They are physically and mentally the toughest teams in the East. Those are the facts. That's why they're left over. That's why they're the two standing. And Denver, come on, man. They were down 3-1 twice already, and they came back. At one point or another, you can't call it a novelty anymore. You can't call, well, they're overachieving. No, they're a damn good team that have two stars that are rising stars in this league. That's all. We all knew Jokic was a monster. Now he's got the stage to prove it. We all knew Jamal Murray was really, really talented. Now he's doing the same thing that Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are doing. He's putting his name on the map like, I'm a star in this league. Bam with that block, besides all-star, he's saying, I'm a star. Tyler Hero saying, hey, I might be a rook, but I'm an up-and-coming star in this league. That's what these stages are for. That's why you see people in the history of time elevate themselves in these moments. That's what it's all about. You're in the pressure cooker. And Tyler Hero can handle the pressure cooker. Paul George cannot. Okay? That's all it is. Jason Tatum can handle the pressure cooker. Paul George cannot. That's all. And it doesn't matter whether, we're talking about the regular playoffs or we're talking about these playoffs. The stage is set for you. It's your opportunity to go out there and do it. And the four teams that are left are the ones that wanted it more than everybody else, because you didn't get to lean on the advantages. And no, there are no advantages. It's now an even playing field for everybody, which I got to tell you, it kind of intrigues me that maybe we should do this for the future. And I know fans are going to hate that. They're going to hate hearing that. But I kind of like the fact that, I start to think that some of these teams, ended up taking advantage of winning a lot of games in the regular season and then gave themselves a home court and gave themselves a monster advantage. Meanwhile, here's a season where there is no, it's like the Super Bowl. There's no advantage. You're not playing in your home stadium. You're playing in a neutral field. Now, you have some of your fans, they have some of their fans, And then there's a lot of corporate people in there that really don't care about either team. They're just there to enjoy the free tickets or whatever from their corporate partners and sponsors and all that other crap. And they're there to have a good time. So it becomes more of a neutral, opportunity in the Super Bowl. And the NBA is now getting a little taste of that, but they had it for all rounds in the playoffs. So anybody that tells you that there should be some kind of an asterisk, they're full of crap, man. I commend the 4 teams that are left, and I'm consistent. I said this before the bubbles, before this whole crap started, when they were in the regular season of going into the bubble. I said it, double crown for the winner, and I'm sticking to it, man. In fact, the more I see it, the more I'm impressed with the team that is outlasting everybody else in these conditions. Because you're proving to me you're the better players, you got the better coaching staff, you're mentally tougher than the next opponent, and that's why you're advancing now. And the Clippers, they weren't in it, man. They weren't mentally tough. They weren't focused. And now when you see the players bicker and they're taking shots at each other and all that stuff that's going on, especially Paul George, who deserves all the heat in the world, it's interesting because I know several people in Indianapolis, because obviously I've been going there for a long time. I know a lot of people in the Pacers organization. I've been very fortunate that I've made friends with a lot of people in the Pacer organization, and even when I go to the Combine, I'm usually at one of the Pacer games. If they're home during that week, I will go to a Pacer game. Have yet to go in 20 years that the Heat were there at the same time. I'm still waiting for the week of the Combine. And when I go up there, the Heat happen to be in town. That hasn't happened. And I've only had one good concert there in 20 years. And it was LA Guns.
It's all about football, man.
Yeah.
Right? That week.
Yeah.
Other than if you catch a basketball game, yeah. It's all about football.
It's all about football. But, man, I would like to see the Heat one day there at the Pacer Arena. That would be actually fun.
I'm looking forward to going because you told me about the little museum they have there.
Well, no, the arena's a museum.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Both levels of the concourse.
Something to see, yeah.
Yes, it's a must. So I get to know a lot of people over there, and when he left, or when they traded him away to OKC, a lot of people were happy that he was gone, believe it or not, because they had gotten to the point of saying that he was a choker and that he was not good for big moments. And I used to take it as, this guy's a hell of a player, bro. This guy a hell of a talent. These guys are just bitter that they've got to part ways with the guy and he doesn't really want to be there anymore and all that. And as time has gone on, I've noticed what they noticed years ago in Indianapolis.
There may be something to it.
Yes, and Indy fans have always said, if you talk to a Pacers fan, that Pacer fan, 99% of the time, if they're like a hardcore Pacer fan and they follow the team, they'll tell you that Paul George goes small in big moments. And in these playoffs here, it's hard to argue that dude, when you're hitting the backboard, you're on the baseline and you're shooting a shot, you're hitting the backboard, you're as rattled as it gets. Superstars don't hit backboards. They just don't. I do, but not a superstar. Okay? I'm allowed to hit the backboard because, I'm just fooling around out there.
You're a novice.
I'm a schmuck out there with the basketball. I'm nothing. You know what I mean? So it's normal for me, but you talk to people in Pacerland, and the first thing they'll tell you is that they're glad that Paul George is gone because they feel he gets small in big moments. And if there's one thing that state follows, and they know, it's their basketball, okay? I'm not saying they don't know anything about soccer or football or hockey or baseball. I'm sure they do, but everybody knows it's a Hoosier state, man. It's basketball. That's God there in that state. And so they were actually really happy that he left. And as the years have gone by, and I've watched Paul George, fall short in moments, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt and the credit that they were all pointing out the right thing about Paul George, that he's just a guy that it does not step up in big moments. And let me tell you something. Paul George now, because of the way social media is and everything nowadays, he has now earned something that will either take him down completely or he's going to be like LeBron and finally rise above it. And it took LeBron several years until he got embarrassed by J.J. Barea, who's half his size, and posting him up in a finals. Which was an embarrassment, by the way, when that was going on. And that was like the line in the sand for LeBron. The next year, he had his watershed moment in Game 6 against the Celtics. And since then, he's been a killer since then. Instead of just a talented guy that scores a lot of points and all of that, he has become a killer after that Game 6. He's the guy that's not afraid of the moment anymore, and he looks forward to those kind of moments. And he's going to play it hard, whether it's offensively, defensively, you name it. LeBron will do it nowadays. Paul George has got to cross that threshold, because if he doesn't, what happened to him 2 nights ago is going to now live with him forever. Okay? What do you call himself? Playoff Pete or something like that? You don't call yourself something when, Reggie Jackson had no problem with Mr. October. Okay, not that he went around telling you he was Mr. October, but it wasn't like he was telling you, don't call me Mr. October. They had no problem. And why? Because Reggie was never afraid of that moment. And he came through in that moment over and over and over again. And so it's up to you now, Paul George, whether you can, come through it or not. And that's why I say that, whoever wins this championship, it's going to be more than well-deserved. Okay?
You know who said something about that, feeling the same way you do in another sport?
Who?
Dabo Swinney today said, whoever comes out of this college and ends up winning the championship, you probably got to give them a little more credit because they've dealt with more than the average season.
Yeah.
He said it today.
I listen, and for me, you went into the bubble and you're away from your family, and it's kind of all about basketball. I kind of find it easier to focus because if you have a strong support system at home, right? And I say that because, I don't want to spin it and make it about me, but whenever I've had to do something, like I have 1,000% support of my wife. So then it allows me to focus on what I'm going to do. And whether if I had to move to California for a job or if I have to leave for a week because I've got to go to the combine, my wife isn't whining and bitching and saying, well, no, you can't leave. You should be at home with us. And then you got to leave anyways because it's work. But now you've got that burden on you while you're gone. And then they're bitching at you every time you call back and all.
You're in a safe, stable, secure relationship. If somebody's having issues with their wife, if she's going out, if she, you know what I mean? That may be a problem,
That's what I'm saying. So the people that have a strong a foundation at home, they can do these kind of things because that's kind of the way it's supposed to be, really. You're supposed to support your spouse and, and your kids, and if they want to do this, then that's fine. Let's go, all that kind of stuff. My daughter's up for something that she may end up leaving the country for it. Not that I want it, but I got to support it. You know what I mean? As a father, you're afraid, but as a father, you're also excited because it's a great educational opportunity, So it's just one of those things, and you got to support it. And you don't bitch and all. And so that's where I think it's really important for a lot of these guys that if they don't have great foundational support at home, they're going to struggle away in the bubble. And I think a lot of these guys, the Heat did a great job of creating as much a family atmosphere with pictures of families on the wall in their areas and all that stuff. And so they did that. And I just think that this was this is a mental test now for a lot of these guys. And you guys need to be very proud of the Miami Heat, okay? Because I think most of us didn't have them getting this far. And the fact that they're here is just absolutely amazing. And they've got a shot tonight at taking a 2-0 lead. And it's nice to have the 1-0 lead in this series already as it is. And in a way, it's what's great about tonight's matchup for the Heat is it's not that they're playing with house money, because you've seen it already. They're way too mature for that. They're not going to underestimate anybody. They're not going to relax because they're up one game. They're not going to relax when they're up 2-0. They don't relax when they're up 3-0, and they don't relax if they're up 3-1. Okay? They play hard no matter what. So you're going to get the best of the Heat tonight. But what I love is that this puts now Boston in a position that they're uncomfortable now. Okay? They've got to win tonight. It's not that the series is over if they lose, but putting yourself in a 2-0 hole now forces you to have to win 4 of the next 5 games in order to win the series. And that becomes, monumental, okay? That's an enormous task for any team to actually have to overcome. So Miami has a great, great opportunity tonight. And it'll be interesting to see how Bam responds to all the praise and everything that's gone on for 2 days, which normally with him it looks like it'll be ho-hum. I'm out to work. Give me my lunch pail. I'm ready to grind. But Jason Tatum also, everybody's been asking him, and he sees everybody talking about his failed moment right there. And you got Magic Johnson coming out saying this is the greatest defensive play I've ever seen in my life in the playoffs. And I kept thinking about it, and he might be right, actually. He might be right. That might be the greatest defensive play. There's not a lot of them I can think of that are better than that one, okay? Because that dude's coming right at you, and he's about to slam you,
Plus the side that he's coming from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get in front, and where he gets his hand on, the ball's already going down. This guy's come, back 3-4 feet, and he's about to finish it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. No foul.
No
the
broken,
body control.
How about no broken hand?
You know what? A couple people said yes. 99.9999% of people are in the hospital having surgery on their wrist.
How did he not break the 5th metacarpal or 4th metacarpal or whatever the hell goes on in your hand? I don't know.
Yeah. No. It's.
How did he not just bust up the middle finger, the index finger? How does that not happen? You know what I'm saying? Shows you. Also, a kid hits the gym, or he's hitting the weights. Holy crap!
Or his tendons have major flexibility in them.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely nuts. Hey, yesterday, the line was Celtics -2. It's now Celtics -2.5. So that means the money is coming in on the Celtics. So just for the record, okay, I get now 2.5 because I don't make my bets till tonight. Close to when I make my pick, I'll wait till tonight. And so now I'm going to get another half a point. So I'm taking Miami plus 2.5 now in that one, so just in case, because the line
they still don't believe in us, huh?
Right.
Okay.
No, I think it's also, I think Vegas feels like
it's going to go back and forth and back and forth all the way.
Like they have to answer back tonight. That's why I'm really intrigued with this game, because say what you want, while Boston's super talented, okay, we could argue that they're probably maybe a little more talented than Miami. When healthy, obviously. We can make that argument, but I can also tell you it's not like they've been in these positions over and over again. So that's the good thing about this. It tests them, and this is going to be a nice little test for the Celtics. We'll see. We'll see if they can pass that test. Let's do a little roll call here. Pat in Asheville says, I'm actually first, huh? Yes, you are, Pat. You are number one. And he says, feels real good winning. Ray Grulong is in. He goes, I'll take number 2 today. So will the receiver tonight for the Browns. He'll take a number 2 also. Bromar Smelly is in. Mark McIntyre says, Ira Kaufman says, Tua in Game 3, fans need him. Yeah, Ira's enjoying too much free food in the press boxes up in Tampa. Let's see what else. Richard McLean is in the house. Miami Heat 4 wins away for a championship. 5 wins, my man. Right? No, I'm sorry. 7 wins away from a championship. That's what it is. 3 more here and 4 more in the finals. That's where they're at. They're 7 away from a championship. NorCal says, wake and bake, roll your own and tune in. Troy Ortiz is in. John Santos says a good morning. Robert Triana is in. Omar Lopez, Gus 1388. Lewis Bryant, ATL, checking in, born and raised in the county of Dade. Want to know if I bring Tyra, can I get into the boom boom room so we can zoom in the poom poom? Okay. All right. If you could, and I got to be there also if Tyra's there. She's the host of Dancing with the Stars, right? This year, something like that.
Yes, it is actually.
Okay.
Exactly.
I haven't watched that in years. I may watch it just for her.
Have you seen pictures of her without makeup?
No.
She's not your girl. She's not Hallie.
Oh,
okay? Let me just say that.
Well, Hallie is a freak of all freaks. I mean,
there's girls that are natural.
No woman should be compared to Hallie, bro.
Okay, just pick
Hallie is
she's not the only one that goes no makeup, okay?
I know that. Well,
Tyra
my girl Susanna Hoffs is another.
Thank you. Like I said,
goddess without makeup.
Don't act like Hallie's the only one.
Selma Hayek actually looks pretty good without makeup, actually.
Yeah. Here, Tyra without makeup, seen some shots. Yeah, there's a lot of caking going on.
All right, but she still looks good when she's made up, bro. All I'm saying.
Well, just don't wake up with her in the morning.
That's
Might
all
get,
right.
Whoa, what happened?
You wake up there, you still scored, bro. I'm telling you still scored big time. T-Bone says, I want to see carnage Sunday. I want to see Fish put a spanking on the Bills. Thomas Cook is in, says, good morning from OKC, from Thomas and Jeff on the shredding truck. Love you, bro. Go Heat, white hot. Man of 1,005 old says, I always wanted Paul George here because of his defense. I am glad I'm not the GM of the Heat. David says, the passenger of time allows me to pose the question whether Dan M. had Paul George syndrome in big postseason moments. Eve having this discussion would have been sacrilegious 20 years ago. No, I don't. Marino's moments weren't really because of him. It was more the stuff around him, bro. He didn't have a defense ever. It's not that he scored 40. It's that the defense allowed 42. It's not that he scored 28. It's that they allowed 35. It's not that he scored 24. It's that they allowed 34.
Don't forget he didn't have a running game at all either.
And the defense always knew that they were passing because they could not rely on the run. So there was a lot of factors involved. Look, think John Elway. John Elway wasn't a choker. It's just he had Sammy Winder. Now he went and got Terrell Davis in a defense, and all of a sudden, wow, what a difference. I mean, the early Elway didn't even have the orange crush with Carl Mecklenburg. Okay? The early Elway didn't have that. Then the older Elway had the defense, had the offense, had everything. Had the receivers, had everything. Okay.
Big difference, you think?
Yeah, but it's kind of unfair the way she took her pictures. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well.
No, because, man, when her eyes, the way they pop, man, I mean, she's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. When you see this,
if
it's like, whoa, night and day.
I'm single. I'm still not chasing her out of anywhere. Okay? I'm just saying.
I understand what you're saying. It just, you may wake up and be a little shocked. That's all.
I doubt it.
Who is this person here?
I doubt it. I'm going to want another round when I wake up in the morning. Super Boom Shack is in. Richard McLean is in. Big O, I think John Havlicek used the backboard occasionally, but can't think of anyone else. Actually, no, that's not true. You remember Dominique Wilkins, towards the end of his career, his shots, he used to use the backboard a lot. Okay? Look at Neek's second half of his career, and there were a lot of backboard shots. Duncan actually had a little bit of a glass magic, too, with some of his moves around the paint that he could also backboard it. But I remember Neek got to a point where he was actually making several backboard shots, too, towards the end of his career. But very few do that. Let's see who else. So Julius 305 is in. Herman Cueva is in. My wife looks as good without makeup as with, unfortunately. Tyra's body is banging, though. I'll take one for the team. There's no you're not taking anything for a team, bro. You're scoring big, okay? So there's no low-hanging fruit here, man. Sorry, Tyra Banks is still Tyra Banks in my book. Last night I watched Tua documentary and lost it. I cried a couple times. Can't wait to see him play Week 14 and on. Yeah, once you see that doc, yeah, you love the kid even more. You're right. Yeah. What else? There we go. So we got a bunch of stuff. And don't forget to give us the thumbs up while you're watching. Also, subscribe, share the link to the show. We appreciate that as always, man. Big time. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, that's 786-322-1105. Anthony Chang will be joining us at 1:30. So we'll talk a little Miami Heat with the Miami Herald beat writer. My man Herbie Lopez will be in the house. He's over there. He's going to come by at noon. We'll talk with him. His Lakers are obviously looking good, and he's probably feeling good now that the Clippers are out. Although maybe Denver's actually more dangerous than the Clippers, actually, when it's all said and done. So we'll talk a little basketball with Herbie here at Toyota of Hollywood. I am waiting on one more interview, possibly for 2:00. Another basketball interview. We're also going to air Coach Flo's press conference, and we're also we've got Ryan Fitzpatrick. He also addressed the media, and so we'll hear from his comment. We'll get his comments, and we'll react like we always do on the show. We do want to remind you that Murias Dental is a proud sponsor of our program. Please call Eric Murias, whether it's for you or the kids, whether you've got to get a cavity filled, maybe you need implants or Invisaligns. They are the experts. So if you want to straighten out your teeth like I have, then call them, man. I'm telling you, 305-821-0231. Go to the website, MuriasDental.com. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Murias Dental, and they do it all there for you, folks. State-of-the-art equipment. I keep telling you that if you've got to get an implant, if you've got to get a crown, something along those lines, they will make the tooth right there and then, the crown right there and then. You're not leaving with the temporary, and then you got to come back a couple weeks later, and you got to worry that the temporary may fall out, because that's happened to everybody. Call Murias Dental, man. State-of-the-art, super clean, family-owned. I've been going there. I would never tell you to go use a sponsor that I wouldn't myself, okay? That's why I represent them, because I know they're the real deal. 305-821-0231. Save it on that cell phone. 305-821-0231 for MuriasDental.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. I want to give you a heads up on something because let me see if I hear back from him. You know, Dougie Fresh, by the way, I don't know if he's watching right now. He may not be watching. Dougie Fresh lives in Pensacola. Okay, and he by the way, they're in a hotel right now with no power or water. He says he still has his sense of humor and his chihuahua named Chica. And so you know, as always, he has a sense of humor. But they did lose their vehicle in the process, and so he's I don't know, man. I just, if for those of you out there, if you want to follow him on Twitter and reach out, because I don't know what we could do for him. You know what I'm saying? Flu3 is his Twitter handle, FLU3, and that's Doug and Victoria. And as you all know, they are, you know, big time supporters of our show and everything. And I just wish I lived close to help him out because he's all the way in Pensacola. So if anybody's out there, and if you can reach out to him on Twitter, FLU3. You could do that and reach out to him because I feel bad for our boy Doug. He's out there, and obviously a lot of the people out there in the Panhandle and Alabama area that went through a really, really tough time with the storm with Sally. And so just if you want to reach out to Doug, you can do that there on Twitter at FLU3, man. He's a good dude, and Dougie, we're thinking of you, man. I don't know if you're able to watch us on your phone, or if you happen to be, and all that. But we're thinking of you, man. So Dougie Fresh, prayers, and if there's anything we can do, I don't know what can we do, but I would love to do something to help him out, because he's always so helpful with us here on our show. So thank you out there. Appreciate it. And if you can reach out to him, please do, because he's a good person, really, really good person. FLU3 on Twitter. I think his tweets are normally protected, but if, I think you could probably send him a message or send him a tweet or something along those lines. And if you happen to live close by, good people, man. Ronald Hubbard says, good morning, everybody. Alicia Keys is another beautiful woman that really looks good, all natural. Have you noticed that she's been actually doing more stuff just natural with no makeup? And you're right, she's still cute without the makeup. And she's got a smoking body. And then, obviously, God gave her musical talents that are just out of this world, man. Love listening to that woman do her thing. And he says, hope them goons from Dade County take game 2 tonight. Prayers for Dougie Fresh and all in that area. And you're a good man, Ronald. Mike chimes in, says, good morning, everybody. Pat in Nashville says, Dougie Fresh, I'm sorry that you guys are having to deal with that. Sucks. Thinking about you and your great sense of humor. And Matthew Walker says, Dougie Fresh, stay safe, my friend, and help others if you are able. And I wish we could all get together to help Doug some way. That's what I'd like to do. Big O, my expectations for the Dolphins was too high this year, and now I know Fitzmagic isn't going to be that. He is a journeyman QB for a reason. Well, but he's always been that. I mean, Richard, I hope you didn't set yourself up and try to, make, what's it called? Make Fitz more than what he really is and what he's been his whole career. You know what I mean? He's a great guy, obviously, but he's a guy that's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna force the issue. He's gonna, throw some turnovers. Unfortunately, that's kind of been his MO his whole career. And I doubt, 17 years into a career that all of a sudden he's going to become an incredibly efficient quarterback that is, going to light up the world and lead a team to a Super Bowl. That's not going to be him. It would be great, because with that personality, you kind of want somebody like that, so you can have a lot of fun along the way with it. But unfortunately, Fitz is what he is. And where I underestimated Fitz is I didn't think of him to be that important of a bridge quarterback. And now I'm realizing that he can be a really good bridge quarterback for somebody. And I'm glad he's here for the time being, while you tried to give Josh a chance and it didn't work out. And now you're trying to give, Tua the chance. And I'm sure it'll work out, but obviously it's going to take some time. But don't ever put yourself in a position to think that Fitz can be your savior. That's where you're always going to then end up coming up short, because he's never been that. He never will be that. He can, get on a little roll, but he's not a guy that's going to carry you for a whole season and in a postseason and be that franchise type guy. That's just not who he is. We like him. We enjoy, what he's done here, but you got to put it in perspective. And you got to know what he is. Andrew Lowe says, Doug, reaching out today to you, my brother. There you go, Andrew. Nice job by you, sir. Pat in Nashville says, if he needs financial help, ask him to set up a GoFundMe page. I'll donate. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. You know what? I'm going to send him a text right now. That's a fantastic idea, dude. I should have thought about that last night. You know that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling him that right now. There we go. Yep, there we go. I'm typing it out. Just sent it to him. Okay? Because he's been sending me DMs, and so I reached out last night to him to find out how he's doing, because I had to check in with all my people in Mobile, and they got lucky because it wasn't as bad, but it went more to the east, more to Pensacola, and there's a lot of flooding there, and so obviously Dougie Fresh went through a rough one, and so he's definitely not on the chat board, because as you all know, you would have already seen him on the chat board. He would have said something. You know, Doug would have he would have joked around about where he's at right now or what he's doing. I mean, you know,
he'd say something like, "We lost our car. We're at the hotel. We got a boat outside. We're ready to go wherever we got to go."
Right, exactly. He would do something like that. You're right. So let's see if he can set up a GoFundMe, and we'll all pitch in and help him out, man. I know I will. That's for damn sure. Oh, they're bringing us pizza? Oh no, it's not for us. Okay. All right. Well, I thought they were bringing us a little early lunch here.
You had aspirations, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I saw the food. I was like, they're bringing us lunch?
If you want pizza, they do have pizza over there. I could go get us some pizza.
No, dude. There's actually a really good pizza joint, like just a little bit down the street.
Really?
Yeah, Tony's is like really good.
What is it?
Tony's.
Oh, okay.
They do a really good job.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I have an idea right after the show.
Yeah. I've been going to Tony's for decades.
How far down is it?
Just a mile down.
Oh, you know what? You obviously back in the day when you were on 441 every day.
I am.
Instead of doing KFC right next door, you went and had Tony's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony's was right up the street from QAM. So yeah, they do a really good job here in this area. If you want to get some pizza, Tony's is actually a pretty good place.
Thank you for planting a seed, bro.
There you go. Yeah, they do a good job, man. You will enjoy it. I promise you that. Let's see. Herman says, please, Doug, stay safe, my friend. Hope everything is okay. Very nice of all of you reaching out to Doug. And again, maybe reach out to him on Twitter. Okay, that's where I think, because right now he's not on the chat board. So I think reaching out to him on Twitter, FLU3, flu3. Follow him, whatever, and send him a tweet. You know, I don't know if his DMs are open. If he doesn't follow you back, I don't know if his DMs are open, so you can do it that way. But yeah, check him out there, man, because he's really good people, as you all know, that are here every day with us. So our prayers with him. 786-322-1105. We got Bengals and Browns tonight. And
are you excited?
That's my problem, bro. That's my problem. Like, Bengals and Browns, really? And I get it. It's, you know, we're still waiting for the Baker Mayfield thing to happen. And after his rookie year, it's been a flop. His commercials are outstanding. But, you know, his game is not. And so, I mean, listen, he has a future, at least, you know, in the thespian roles. So he might actually be an actor, you know. And now, maybe,
you think he does a good job protecting his house?
Or maybe he's just acting like a quarterback now. And that's why he plays that way, because he's only an actor. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. And then you got Cincinnati, and, you know, I didn't expect much from Cincinnati this year. I'm not some of you were so, you know, some of you are so gullible. Oh, hey, Joe Burrow's looking great in practice. And it's like, are you serious, dude? You know, it's like, you know, when people, you got to understand, in those kind of practices, all those quarterbacks are wearing red jerseys, which means you can't touch them. And then they know they can't be touched. So they have this incredible confidence at that moment. But then when they step in the game, there's no red jersey anymore. And all of a sudden, they're hitting you everywhere. Even when you're on the ground, they're stepping on you or whatever. And you're like, well, wait a minute, this is a whole different ball game. And so the Bengals now have to go through real football. And he's still a rookie. And while, hey, listen, he could be the next Dan Marino and he just, you know, lights it up from the get-go, I don't expect that. I don't expect that from any young quarterback, pretty much. Dan was a freak of all freaks. That's just not normal what Marino did. Okay? And so that's why when I look at this game tonight, it's like, really? Oh, God, I got to watch this. And I don't even know if I even, not that you guys give a rat's ass about my fantasy team, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even think I have a Bengal or a Brown on my team.
Ditto.
Yeah, I don't have a Bengal or a Brown. I don't have a Bengal or Brown, period, on my team. Not even on the bench. I don't have a Bengal or a Brown.
Same situation for me, man.
By the way, I picked up your boy in the waivers.
Oh, Fant.
I'm fantastic. Yes.
You know what?
I mean, I have Jared Cook and Hayden Hurst, but they're using him like a receiver, so I figured, maybe, whatever.
One of the things that popped out at me was the fact that they're planning on lining him up at every position besides tight end.
And
the slot out at receiver.
And what I noticed is
the injuries.
The quarterback loves him.
Yeah, oh, yes.
So that's all that counts to me.
Right. Well, what do they always say? Look, let's face it, man. The easiest pass is straight ahead right in front of you. And where's the tight end?
Yeah.
In between
High
the two
percentage.
safeties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High percentage.
I'll tell you what I did at tight end. Goddard
Oh, Goddard
was out there.
Yeah, that's my guy.
I had to get rid of Gesicki. I was kind of like, I didn't want it, but I'm like, you know what, man? Shane Gailey doesn't really.
Like, I like Gesicki in the draft. Goddard was the guy ahead of him. That's the guy I wanted them to draft, and they took Gesicki instead. Goddard then went to Philadelphia after. But he's got to deal with the number one. That's the difference. If he was done number one, he'd already be productive.
He might be the number one tight end if Ertz isn't there.
Oh, no, he is the number one tight end if Ertz is not there. But what I'm saying is, unfortunately, he's on a team with a legit number one tight end.
Yeah, but you know something I read? They targeted those two guys 16 times.
Yeah.
And he had 2 more targets than Ertz did.
Oh, because they're double teaming Ertz.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Why. Yeah, so it's opening it up for him.
And the only reason I made the move, I got to say, there's a couple other tight ends that are out there. And obviously, we are in different leagues. We only got 8 teams in our league. So there's people out there on the heap.
Tons.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to – this isn't like I don't have a chance to get another tight end. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I need Mayfield and Mixon to show up tonight. They are crapping on my fantasy football team. Well, Mike, you drafted Bengals. That's all I can tell you, Mike. All I can tell you is, my brother, if you got a chance, don't draft Bengals. That's all. Don't draft the Browns players. Don't draft the Bengals. It just puts you in a really, really tough position. And that's why for me tonight, it's like I don't even know. Maybe the guy I'm playing has something with the Bengals. You know what I'm glad is that the Marlins are playing tonight because they won again last night. So now tonight, I'm glad that the Marlins are also playing. I'm probably going to watch all Heat, obviously. And then once the Heat is over, then I'll switch over to the football game. I mean, I'll have it being recorded and all of that, but I come on, I can't. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We are at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by. See Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez. If you want to buy a vehicle, folks, or you want to lease a vehicle, come on out here at Toyota 2021 Corolla LE, $149 a month. You can lease it for that. The Corolla XSE 2020 model, the hatchback, $239 a month. The 2020 Camry LE, $205 a month. Take it from me, I drive a Camry XSE. I love my Camry. It's right out there. It is a beautiful thing, man. And I'm telling you, they are very reliable as always. I've had a few Toyotas in my life. I've had 2 Camrys and a Corolla in my lifetime. So I believe in Toyota products. 2020 Toyota RAV4 4-wheel drive, $289 a month, folks. Come on down, 36 months for these leases. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. Come see Lori Rodriguez, the lovely and talented one. She'll take care of you. Joel Rubio, Azric Smith, so many guys. Gary Thompson, great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to appear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Alrighty, we back. Yes, it is hour number 2 of the program. Anthony Chang, by the way, will join us in hour 3 to preview a little Heat and Celtics. I'm waiting for my guy, Tony Jones. Hopefully we'll get him on. He covers the NBA and also the Utah Jazz, so we'll get his thoughts on what's going on.
Got to widen the shot, man, and get that beautiful blue car in the scene.
Yeah, dude, what color is that? Is it
Powder blue.
Yeah, that is nice,
Isn't it?
bro. Like, did they make a lot of Supras in that color? Because
No, that's a special color. It's a special
Yeah.
edition.
yeah, that thing is badass, dude. Like,
It's badass.
how many people have that Supra? Like, you guys have way more Supras than everybody else, and barely anybody has Supras. But like this blue Supra,
Oh my God.
tinted headlights.
It's got fancy stripes in the back of the car, bro.
It's super nice. It is super nice, bro.
But you got fancy stripes on the back. You
That's
gotta.
it.
That's
You're
it.
in. You're in, bro. You're in. Herbie Lopez, of course, joining us. He's the man you got to see. Come on down to Toyota of Hollywood, whether you want to buy or lease. Come on, see Herbie. If he can take care of my mother-in-law, then that's it, bro. That's all you need to know, okay? When we talk about like high maintenance,
Old school.
like super old school high maintenance, that is my mother-in-law. And if this guy can handle her and make her feel great, then he can handle any customer and any of your mothers-in-laws too out there. So, although maybe I'm setting you up for something there.
I don't know.
Your mother-in-law.
Hey, listen, I can tell you she's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love
she
your
is.
mother-in-law.
Yeah, she is.
Love
She's
her.
good people.
Great
She
people.
is good people. She still is in 1950, but she is good people. Anyway, my brother, so what'd you think of the choke job? Because I thought it was going to be your Clippers, Lakers. And I thought the Clippers were going to beat your Lakers when it was all said and done, because I thought the Clippers were going to win it all. They had the team, but they didn't have what it takes.
You know, I got to tell you, it was a happy day for me, or a happy night for me,
Right?
just to see what happened. But you know, it just shows chemistry is obviously a big one. It's been talked about a lot. There was they didn't take the regular season seriously. When we talk about time management, we talk about that all that time off and stuff. You're the if you're the star on the team, like a Kawhi, Paul George, I know was hurt, but Kawhi, you can't take all those days off when you're trying to create this thing.
Right.
And I think he was in a position where, you know, all the pressure was on him too. I mean, he had a lot of great games and stuff, but when you look at it, Paul George choked.
Again?
You had Montrezl Harrell was a no-show,
Right.
right? Couldn't guard anybody. Lou Williams,
Worried about his
Lemon
wings.
Pepper Lou,
Yeah.
wasn't there.
He was worried more about his wings and trademarking and all that
Was.
crap. Than,
I'm looking to try those.
yeah. Well, if I go to Atlanta one day, I will. I'm going to that strip club if I go to Atlanta.
We gotta go.
Like, yeah,
Gotta go.
that Atlanta, that strip club got so much great pub.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, I told my wife, I go, if I ever go, I'm going for a concert. If I'm going for the SEC Media Days, I'm going to call you from that strip club and tell you about the wings. She goes, really? And I go, yeah, I'm going to call you.
But now you got a great
Drink that.
excuse to go there. You
Yeah,
know,
oh,
that-
yeah, for
baby, I'm not
sure.
here for the women. I'm here for the
I'm here
wings.
for the wings. I'm here for the wings. That's it.
I love the chicken breast too.
I had a, I don't know if you heard the segment yesterday when I was talking about these guys. And to me, what happened, I thought was and I blame this a lot also on Kawhi. Kawhi's not a leader. Kawhi
Right.
is a great, great player. And he stepped into a team in San Antonio where he was drafted, where they had a culture in place already. So he didn't have to lead because he had Tim Duncan there, and he had Manu, and he had Tony Parker, and there was already a championship, you know, attitude in place.
And Popovich.
Well, obviously that's the guy that started it all,
And
right?
Popovich.
Right, but Popovich. But then he gets traded to Toronto, where they have a culture in place.
Right.
Where the leaders were already there, and I know they traded DeRozan, but Lowry was still there.
Correct.
Lowry works harder than anybody else, okay?
Gasol.
Yeah, good. You know, all those guys that were there, you know.
Great vets.
Yeah, they're all vets. They're all proven. And then a couple young guys and OG and Siakam that are up and coming, but they're hard workers too. So the culture was there. So all he had to do was be the great player. He goes to the Clippers, and now he has to build the culture with them. He can't do that. He's not the guy that's going to rattle a cage.
Right.
LeBron will rattle your cage and tell you, yo, get your crap together, bro. I don't care about your stupid lemon pepper wings. Play your ass off here right now. And so LeBron will, because he learned it from Miami. You know what I mean? That you have to have. And so this is what we have learned now from Kawhi, and why I said yesterday we can no longer make the Kawhi and LeBron comparisons.
No, of course not.
We can compare the athletes and the players themselves, but as in complete players, LeBron is light years ahead of Kawhi. Kawhi is a terrible leader. He is just a great player, and it ends there. That's it.
Right.
If you want him to police your locker room, that's not the guy.
Well, look at this, Big O. Is you got
And Paul George is just like that too.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
same guy.
I mean, he chokes on all the game sevens.
And he can't lead. He
Right.
can't because you can't lead. It's what I used to say about Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill will never dominate a locker room no matter what anybody tells you, because everybody in the locker room knows that he needs everybody else to feed off of in order to be effective. He's not the guy that's ever going to be the difference maker. So he can never command that kind of respect in
Correct.
the locker room. And I don't think Paul George is ever going to be able to do that, because it's not like Dwayne Wade. It's not like LeBron. It's not like Steph. Those kind of guys, Durant, all those guys that have done it can then walk up to you and say, yo, you better do this.
Right.
And that's different. And that's what's going on with the Clippers.
So here's a couple points. So, for example, Toronto made it as far as the Clippers did,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, because
So
they're a great franchise.
Not only a great franchise, but it shows you how much talent Kawhi had around him.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
So again, you had basically the same team other than Danny Green going to the Lakers and then him going to the Clippers, right?
Right.
Kawhi going to the Clippers. Look at OKC with the Paul George trade. I mean, you talk about the future now of the Clippers franchise. They put all their chips in. They were all in. And for Paul George to say, listen, it wasn't a championship or bust, to me is a disrespect to that whole franchise because everybody, including him, it came out of their mouth that they were going to win it all.
You have
That's
to.
why they got assembled, similar to like a LeBron and D Wade and Bosh when they
That's
did it,
like
right?
LeBron and AD saying, nah, it's not a championship year.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me,
Every
bro?
year should be a championship year.
Every year.
Especially with all the talent they have in that team. I mean,
Right.
they gave up a first rounder to get Marquise Morris.
They
right?
got no
Or
first
Marcus
rounders
Morris.
for like years now.
Oh my goodness.
They have no way of flexibility now to get out of some of these contracts.
They completely gave away everything in order to build this team, and now both of those guys have player options a year from now.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going to happen there.
Right.
Right? Kawhi's a weird cat.
Right.
And there's no other way. I don't even know if cat's the right animal to name him. But the guy's a weird dude. He doesn't talk much, like you said, when it comes to a leadership standpoint. He's very quiet. He's an unbelievable player.
No, he's
I
a
cannot
great-
take that away from him.
That's where it ends. He's just a great player.
But again, it shows that
Over.
when he's the dude, and you don't have the right pieces around him, and the chemistry's not there. And I'm going to tell you something. We cannot lose sight of what Doc Rivers did. Doc
Oh, no,
Rivers,
it's-
no adjustments whatsoever.
None.
Choked completely.
Again?
Again.
He's done it 3 times, the 3-1 deal.
So again, listen.
It's happened 21 times in the NBA history that a team has come back from 3-1. He owns 3 of those 21.
And we're not talking about the 3-2 either, because he's lost
I'm sorry,
a few of the 3-2.
It's happened 13 times, not 21.
And he's
13, and he owns 3 of those 13.
So again, listen, a lot of people say, Doc Rivers is a great guy and he's a great coach and this and that. But I'm just gonna. I remember when he was playing the Lakers,
Right.
and the Lakers came back from a 3-2 deficit
Right.
and won it with Kobe. So again, all I'm saying is when you look at the whole picture, they got some problems and
Oh,
they need
yeah.
to address it. And then they've got these three. They've got Montrezl Harrell, Marcus Morris, and Michael Green. Now they got to see what they're going to do because they got to sign those guys up and see how they shake it up. But really, that's their problem. I'm looking at the Lakers, baby.
Oh, yeah, no, the Lakers.
Looking at my Lakers.
Although now, in a twisted way, you guys may be facing the harder team now because Denver's fearless.
I agree.
They got 2 guys that are not afraid of the moment.
They're young.
Right? Like I know Kawhi's not afraid of the moment. I'm not going to put Kawhi there and afraid of the moment. I just think Kawhi sucks as a leader now. But Paul George is afraid of the moment.
Oh, for sure.
But Jamal Murray and Jokic are not even Porter is afraid of the moment.
Right.
That
kid's going to be a stud.
I know, but if his back holds up.
Yeah.
Remember,
Well, that's always been
that's why he fell in the draft and people were afraid and all that. Now he's healthy. God bless him. I hope he stays healthy for the rest of his career. If he does, then they've got their big 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about Denver. So Denver now, I think you guys will win because you have the big guys to slow. You're not going to stop Jokic because he's going to get something because he's a great player, but he's not going to have the series he could have like he was having against the Clippers because you got 3 guys that you can come at him. You know what I mean?
They're dangerous. They're dangerous. But I will tell you this. I know I'm a little bit biased because I am a Lakers fan, but I will tell you this. We've basically played the hottest players. So if you look at the I'm speaking of the
Portland,
Lakers
that's
here, right?
Right.
So they go into the playoffs, and the first team that we have to face is the Portland Trailblazers.
Lillard, yeah.
I got to tell you, Dame Time was on fire.
Right.
Right? And listen, what did we do? We lost the first game, and then we went 4 in a row and beat them. And then we go against James Harden, which is another guy that's been on fire. Again, they beat us the first game, and then we went 4 in a row and we beat them. And now we're going against probably the hottest two. I mean, Jamal Murray is playing lights out,
Yeah.
and Jokic is just he really is the best big man in the game. You got to
Yeah.
give it to him. I love AD though. I think AD is, but Jokic is right there with him.
Yeah, it's kind of it's almost like it's 2 different centers.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
For sure.
I don't know if I can compare them exactly. If I'm talking about an offensive center, then I'm taking Jokic.
Right.
If I'm talking about the complete center, then I'm going to go AD because I think AD is going to be the better defender when it's all said and done, and he's got a really good offensive game. I just think Jokic is just the better passer. AD can pass, but Jokic is the best big man passing in the NBA by miles. It's not even close. He's like a big point guard, is what he is.
Look at the other thing is you talk about the flexibility of the Lakers lineup.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we just went small ball. And JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard were basically on the bench. Right? And we played with AD at the center position. You had Morris at the power forward, LeBron, Danny Green, and KCP. That's a big team.
Right.
And that's removing our two tallest guys, which are JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. Once you install these two guys into the lineup now with Kuzma, and now you've got the Denver team, I think we've got a lot of length, which the Clippers did not have.
Yeah, and depth.
Oh, depth for sure.
Right.
And then we also have LeBron James.
Right. Yeah. He's obviously
Yeah,
pretty decent.
17th season.
But you guys can enjoy it for only so long, because then in the finals you'll lose to the Heat. That's all.
Keep it over the belt. Keep it over the belt.
The Heat hands LeBron the loss, and then Pat Riley just smiles at him. You wanted to stretch out that moratorium crap, huh? There you go, moratorium this, bitch. And that's what he's.
I think Pat Riley, being a Laker in his heart, which I have the ultimate respect for Pat Riley. I just want you to know.
You have to.
As an executive, I am so amazed at the moves he makes every year. And when he makes a bad move, like Hassan Whiteside, he figures out a way to correct it.
Right.
So again, the guy's on point. The guy's always drafts great.
Only Jerry West has been the better player executive.
Again, you keep mentioning all these Lakers. I just want you to know that. It's like a theme.
I just call it like I see it.
Good. So anyhow, we go back to this thing. I hope and see a Lakers Miami finals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you got Kobe Bryant. May he rest in peace. I love Kobe Bryant. And I just think this year's special. I think LeBron's on a mission. I think having AD there, you have the best two players left in the bubble on one team.
Yeah.
You have the best two players in the bubble on one team. And when you're playing a playoff series, when you have the best player, you win the series.
Yeah, won the NBA.
Normally,
that's the way it
right?
is. Yes.
When you have two of them.
Yeah.
It's just hard. It's hard to beat. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Boston,
Now
Miami.
AD is the better player. Is he having a better series or a better playoff series than Jimmy Butler?
No, Jimmy Buckets is Jimmy Buckets. But I will tell you this.
He's the better player.
Yeah.
But he's not having a better playoff run than Jimmy Butler.
Right, but after Jimmy Butler, who's the next guy? Bam? Right?
Yeah.
Who I happen to love.
He's an all-star.
But I'm going to say this.
That block there.
Oh, my God. Oh, I saw that. Oh, my goodness. That's got to be the best block other than LeBron's probably.
You saw what Magic Johnson from the Lakers
I know.
said about that block,
He said that. I saw it.
He might be right, actually, because I keep thinking about a block that's better than that.
LeBron's on Iguodala?
No, because that's from behind.
Right.
This was they're dunking on you, bro.
Right.
Like he had all the force to break that man's hand.
That was crazy.
How is his hand not broken?
Probably is.
You tell me that.
We got to get some X-rays on that.
My man's he's hitting the weights, man.
Whew.
How in the world?
And he came with some force.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He was throwing it down.
6'9", 240.
Whew.
That thing's coming hard, and Bam stopped that right
crazy.
before the rim. That's nuts.
But if you
and
look,
super clean.
Oh no, all ball.
Like
all ball.
That's what I'm saying. Magic might be right. When I saw that tweet, I go prisoner of the moment. Like we all are at times for anything great that happens. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then I started thinking, I go, damn, he might be right.
Right.
Because I don't remember a block like that.
Yep.
Right at the rim at the end of a game that it just decided
Phenomenal.
the game. And he kept the ball in bound.
Unbelievable.
Which I know Tony Fiorentino was somewhere clapping like, wow, he did a Zoe. He kept it in bounds.
Kept it in bounds.
He always would talk about that when he would do the analysis.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm rooting for the Lakers and I'm rooting for the Heat.
Are you rooting for Steve Ostroff? Because he's right behind you.
Oh, is he? Oh.
There we go. There we
Yep.
go. So what do you think about tonight? Boston, Miami.
I'm rooting for Miami. But if they go up 2-0, Boston's got a problem.
I know, but we just
Boston's got a problem.
We've seen Denver come back twice from 3-1. I said that too. I said, look, that's why I think Boston's going to come out like gangbusters today because they know they got to win. Because this is not the thing about this Heat team, which blows me away. They're so young, yet they're so mature.
Right.
Like they're kicking the Pacers' ass.
Yep.
They could have let off the gas pedal a little, and they finished them off.
They went for yep.
And then the next round, they only gave up one game at the end and then finished them off in the next game.
That was impressive.
Yeah, and to stay like that on them, even when and they did let up when Giannis got injured in that first game,
Right.
that they kind of let up and then that's when they got surprised and then they took care of business after that. But again, the maturity of this team and if you're Brad Stevens, you got to tell your guys, hey, this is not the team you want to fall behind. Right. Not these
They're
guys.
fearless. They're fearless.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And they're shooters.
That's why I think Denver can give the Lakers a series because I'm hoping it is a series.
Right.
I don't want.
I think it's going to be a great series.
I don't want another 4-1, 4-0
Right.
with the Lakers again, or the Heat.
I don't
Well,
mind.
maybe do it with the
They
Heat.
go. I don't mind it. I don't mind a 4-0 or 4-1.
Yeah, actually for the Heat, I don't mind.
Exactly.
But as a basketball fan, I kind of want to see
Right.
what's going on.
For all the other fans, I'm sure they want a long series. I don't mind it if it's a short series for the Lakers.
By the way, I am 33, 23, and 1 against the number in the playoffs.
Wow.
We're 10 above 500 right now.
It's impressive, man.
So I'm going Miami plus 2.5, and I'm actually going with the Lakers, and I'm giving the 6.5 tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I think they may come in a little flat like they did in the first game, and the Lakers kind of blow them out, and then they adjust in the second game and then kind of get their bearings and give them a better game. But I'm actually going to lay the points, which I had with Denver. I took the points in all the games, even in the first one that I lost. But all the rest I ended up winning because they kept it inside those points, even when they lost.
You know your stuff.
Oh, once in a while. I mean, I did have the Clippers winning it all. You know, that was a prediction.
You kind of know your stuff. Let me correct that.
Yeah,
kind of know your stuff.
Kind of.
We did talk about that throughout the whole year, right?
Yeah, no,
You said all the Clippers aren't.
they were
Nobody
loaded,
stopped them.
man. They were loaded.
I
They were
must-
but you know what? It kind of reminds you of the teams we've seen in the past in all sports, that when they just try to collect talent all together, and then you think you could just make the perfect salad, it just doesn't come out right all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when those players aren't great leaders, like you talked about.
Right.
When your stars aren't great leaders,
Right.
then all that stuff, will normally just blow up in your face.
Right, and that's the problem, that Kawhi is not LeBron.
No.
And that's where the Lakers will not fail, that they have a leader now that is time and tested, and everybody will look to and listen to him. You know what I mean? That stuff that happened with Lou Williams and all those guys and Montrezl Harrell, that wouldn't have happened with LeBron, bro. That would
Can't.
not have happened with
Of course
LeBron. You know what I mean? So, who? Oh, yes, I'm with you. But the Heat's got to take him down, Steve. Yeah, let him beat the Nuggets. You serve him up. Exactly, that's what I like. Riley lighting up a cigar at the end. It'll be a beautiful thing.
You know how I feel.
Yes. There you go. See, what you're hearing there is Steve Ostrov, of course, the man that runs here, Toyota of Hollywood. So he's definitely rooting for the Heat. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so what do you football-wise, are you a Dolphins fan?
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. Of
Okay.
course.
Are we winning this week?
They're playing the Bills.
I know, right?
I don't know.
You know, if
I'd like to see Tua.
You know, if
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd like to see Tua.
but not now.
I'd like to see. I'm just telling you how I feel.
No, I get it.
I want some Hawaiian punch.
Everybody wants to see Tua, but it's a matter of giving it the right time to get him in there. Wait till everybody's kind of acclimated. Look, on a week like this, where Devontae Parker's probably going to be out, I don't want Tua in there now.
Right.
The only good thing that I told fans last week, I go, the one thing that will hurry this process up is you saw the offensive line. They played well. They didn't allow a sack to the fourth quarter. If that offensive line is in chaos, you can never start Tua until you fix that, because the poor kid is coming off a hip surgery. The last thing
Yeah, no,
you
those
want,
are great points. Yeah.
you don't want him. You don't want to take him a
Right.
hit. But that's the one thing that I saw. And I said, well, if they keep losing in a couple weeks and the line keeps playing well, And so you're not losing because of the line. They're going to put 2 in there.
Right.
Because then, okay, if that quarterback's not making a difference, we got to get the guy we drafted at number 5.
I think it's raining on Sunday too, right?
I'm not sure.
I think the weather's. Yeah, I think.
It's a hell of a lot easier to predict sports than weather, bro.
Yeah, I just think it'll be a running game. So hopefully, Fitzpatrick could manage the game, and then the defense could step up. They got a great defense too, though. Buffalo's got a great defense.
Buffalo's got a nasty.
I got them in my
defense.
fantasy league.
Yeah, Buffalo's got a nasty defense.
Yeah.
What Miami has to do is they have to find a way to shut down that Bills running game, and with Miami's secondary, force Josh Allen to beat you with his
Right.
arm.
Right.
And then that's where you're going to get turnovers because you saw it last week. Cam didn't test the corners.
Right.
He didn't go after anybody. He went after the middle of the field and running. That's what they attacked, and that's what they're going to attack with Miami because Miami's got corners right now.
Right.
And so that's what I like about this team, that if you get the coverage, you're going to end up getting the sacks, but you got to stop the run. You
Got to.
You have to stop the run.
You got to stop Singletary this week and
Yeah.
make
Singletary
Josh Allen
and Zach Moss.
and Moss, right?
I like that kid.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
be the
good.
number 1.
Yeah, he'll take over the
He's
the
going to
job.
be the number 1. Singletary's not a power guy.
Right.
He's more of a finesse runner. He's not the guy you want between.
Yeah, I like
Zach
Moss.
Moss is a tough kid. He'll run between the tackles with no problem. He'll run hard. I really like him, man.
Yeah, for sure. I know they got a couple good pieces in that team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Huh?
Who, Garoppolo?
Yes.
Oh,
Matt
Breida. Matt
yes.
Breida.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They'll
He's the
use him.
fastest guy in the league.
Yeah,
him and Tyreek Hill.
But the Gaskins kid ran well, so they're going to have a stable of backs.
Yeah, I think so.
What they're going to do. All right, so what do we got going on so folks can come on out here and purchase or lease besides this beautiful powder blue Supra, which is just incredible.
Listen, these last 4 months now of the year, Toyota's coming out with unbelievable incentives. Interest rate as low as 0%. Our discounts on our vehicles are up to 50%. We've got the biggest inventory. We've got the largest facility. We make sure everybody's safe here with masks. We've got the antibacterial
Soap all over the
soap
place.
all over the place. Make sure that the
And the service center, this was before the pandemic. They got so many couches and they're all spread out.
yeah, of course. Our lounge is unbelievable.
Your lounge is ginormous.
You got a Subway.
But your lounge was always like social distance,
Right.
even before the
Yeah,
pandemic.
even before that. Well, you
So-
always want to
so-
give people, that room.
Right, space.
Yeah, that space.
Exactly. So just in case you do have to bring your car to get serviced, you're going to relax in comfort. And then there's a couple restaurants too, so you can have some food, which is a beautiful thing.
By the way,
Yes.
they need to know that if they mention Big O,
Yes.
they get an extra 1,000 on their trade-in.
Oh, there you go.
So don't forget to mention that.
All right, so there you go. An extra 1,000 on your trade-in when you mention it. I got to do a commercial for that too.
Absolutely.
So it runs over and over.
We're looking forward to, having a big weekend, help a lot of people get cars, and, have fun while we do it. We got barbecue on the weekends. Come on in. A lot of music, live music. This is the Disney World of the car industry.
Oh, yeah,
so
there's
come
no
have
doubt.
fun with us.
It's a beautiful place. 400,000 square feet, over 1,500 cars and trucks. That's what I love. When I bought my Camry XSE, the beauty is you go to some of these dealerships, they got like 5, 6, 7 cars to pick from. And so it's an easy decision because you're like settling. Here, it's actually a difficult decision because, because I wanted a Camry and I wanted the red one. And when I saw mine, it was like you guys had like 150 different Camrys for me to pick from.
Absolutely.
Different models, all that. If I want the whole, what is it, the sky roof that I have? What is it from the whole glass?
Right, the moonroof, yep.
The moonroof or no or whatever. I mean, all kinds of different things. That's why I tell you that's what you're going to love about coming out here because you're going to get the car you want, the model you want, the style you want, the color you want. Why? Because they've got a large selection. And give it some time because you're going to take a while to make that decision. You're going to be, do I get the red one? Do I get the blue one? Do I get the white one? Which one do I get? Take 2 home. Why not? All right, man. Good stuff as always, Herbie. Thank you, my
Thank you,
brother.
Big O.
You got it.
All right.
Herbie Lopez, baby, out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Come on out. And like Steve said, you get $1,000 off your trade-in when you mention me. So if you're buying or leasing, mention yours truly, and you'll get an extra $1,000 off, por favor. So make sure you do that. And we'll actually do a little commercial for that, too. Bill. Appreciate it out there, as always. Let's see. Mike says, should Doc Rivers get most of the blame as well? He's always looked good upon as a great coach, but won only one championship with Boston and many choke jobs with very talented rosters. Mike, it's all fair, bro. That criticism of Doc Rivers is earned, okay? It's earned. That it's not a sure thing that he's winning championships. It's more sure that he's going to choke in big moments, because that's exactly what's happened to Doc Rivers. And by the way, Doc Rivers and his Atlanta Hawks were chokers. I do remember that, because when we start talking about Doc Rivers choking away three times a 3-1 lead, I keep thinking of Doc Rivers and Cliff Livingston and all those players that Mike Fratello had with the Hawks.
Reggie Theus.
Yeah, Reggie Theus and Dominique and
Spud
Webb, and they were loaded, okay? I know John Koncak was there, but still, they were loaded, and they underachieved massively. You know what I mean? So it started as a player for Doc Rivers, and then it continued on after that. Let's see. If Finns don't keep Josh in the pocket, it will be a long day. You are correct, Super Boom Shack. Dropping Ruddock for a scout team QB tells me that Flores is comfortable with Tua coming in soon. Ruddock will be available to be what it tells you is that whatever scout team quarterback they have is as good as Rosen, is what it tells you. That's how they feel. And I still think that guy will come in before Tua. Josh usually kills us with his feet. Oh, that's usually what he does with everybody. But once in a while, he'll get hot with his arm, because that's what athletes do. And if you allow him to get comfortable with the running game, then he'll hit a couple of throws. You know, all those kind of guys. I keep telling you guys this over. It's like a broken record. Lamar does it. Tannehill will do it if he's got the Derrick Henry stuff going. Look, you saw this week. He did as much as possible to screw that game up. Okay? It's just athletes will wow you at times, even with the football sometimes, that they will throw. Even though they're not good quarterbacks, but athletes will have their moments where they'll look like they are a good quarterback. That's the difference. That's what you'll see. Now, when you watch a Russell Wilson, he's a great athlete and a great quarterback. That's the difference. Josh Allen is a great athlete, not a great quarterback. I don't even think he'll ever be a great quarterback. I don't think he'll ever be a great passer. It's like the kid in Arizona. I worry about his size. I worry about him taking hits. But that kid can play the game. He can pass the ball from the pocket. He can stay in there and beat you from the pocket. I don't believe Lamar can do that on a consistent basis. I don't believe Josh Allen can do that on a consistent basis. Certain guys, they need the running game in order to be effective out there. There are other guys that you can tell that they are pure passers. And the kid in Arizona is definitely a pure passer. The only thing I worry about him is size. That's the only thing I worry about with him. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. Bill, let's take a break. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out here until 3 o'clock. Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald will join us at 1:30 to talk a little Heat and Celtics. We were yesterday at VSS West Pines. Jose and the boys out there, 12397 Pembroke Road, for all of your CBD needs, whether it's pain, whether it's anxiety, stress. CBD is great for it. They also have legal THC also there at VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. If you're looking for hookah, they've got that. The e-juice also, they've got all of that. The hookah pipes, they've got a large selection. Anything that you need there at VSS West Pines, they'll take care of you. Mention Big O, they will give you 20% off. 12397 Pembroke Road. Call them 954-613-3367. Go to the website, vsswestpines.com.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199. And Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Man, you better quit playing with these Miami goons from the Dade County. Eric Spoelstra, UD over there, the Cap, the OG, Rick Rose, Boss, Big Perk called this, I'm telling y'all.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty. Sorry, folks. I know I wasn't in the bathroom, so I know you guys always think I'm in the bathroom or something. Whenever we do.
Hey, it's okay. In between, we entertain them with a little bit of stuff like
Man,
this.
you better quit playing with these Miami goons from the Dade County.
There you
Eric
go.
Spoelstra, UD over there, the Cap, the OG, Rick Rose, Boss, Big Perk called this, I'm telling y'all.
There you go.
I love that.
So Perk is he's all in, bro. Oh, the Dolphins cut Ruddock, a rookie undrafted QB. There is no way Tua doesn't come immediately if Fitz goes down. Did they add another one? Is what is the question. I haven't seen any of the moves yet, so I don't know. Why don't we do this? Do we have the coach already? Let's air Coach Flores today, and let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about what the Dolphins are doing. Let's get the latest with the coach after he addressed the Meteors. Go ahead, Bill. fire it off, sir.
Morning, Brian. I guess any team is probably only going to have a few defensive players who play most every snap. I sort of figured, perhaps I was wrong on this, that Kyle would be one of them. He went 41 of the 64 last week. Was that because of physical issues and rounding back into form after the hand injury, or was it a game plan decision, or maybe a little of both?
You talking about last week's game?
Yeah. Just with Van Noy, just if you view him as an every down player, because he, there were 23 snaps he wasn't on the field last week.
Barry, we kind of moved on to this week. So as far as, snaps last week, I think for everybody, they were, everyone had a little bit of different snap count, but, that was last week. And we're kind of moved on to this week. So, obviously we have we think highly of Kyle, as well as a lot of other players. I mean, I wouldn't take one game and try to put guys in the buckets as far as every down players or situational players. I mean, I wouldn't take one game and do that, especially in this type of season. So,
Stothard?
Hey, Flo, how important was it to you guys to try to get Preston going in the game on Sunday, and how important is it going forward for him and Fitz to kind of reestablish the connection that they had at the beginning of last season?
I think it's important to establish connection, quarterback to all the receivers, not just one in particular. So, I mean, that's something that you build that rapport in practice, and, you hopeful that it shows itself in the game. And that's why we go out there and practice, and, we'll do that again today and try to establish that rapport with, you mentioned Preston, but it's the same with really all the receivers, the backs, the tight ends. Same thing defensively as far as, guys playing together, same thing in the kicking game. So it's something that you build over the course of time and through practice, and we'll continue to do that.
Adam?
I had a question about Landon Roberts. He wasn't announced as a concussion in the press box. When did that happen, and when were you guys alerted to it?
This is the case in every once in a while where someone has some symptoms the next day. So, look, nothing's more important than the health of the players, and, we'll always do what's in their best interest. So, he's in the protocol now, and we'll get him back when we get him back. But we're not going to rush it at all.
Omar?
Good morning, Flo. I just wanted to talk about with Roberts down. Obviously, you've got to get guys prepared to work on as the inside linebacker. Who can fit that role? I mean, Sam played it some last season, but then I've seen you guys use him sort of as an edge player. Is that how you view him now? And can you talk about Kwame? I don't know if I said his name right, in terms of his growth in the defense.
Kamu, you're saying?
Kamu, okay.
I may start calling him Kwame moving forward. Thanks. Well, first off, Roberts, we'll see how that goes. We're not counting him out. But we obviously have some other guys in the room. Van Noy's played linebacker. Kamu's played, obviously, a linebacker. Baker, Sam Megavon Munson. We've got some other guys in the room. So, if that's the case, if somebody's down, other guys will step in. And look, it'll be based on the game plan, based on what they give us offensively. So we may have different types of bodies in there. So, but the good thing about that group is they're flexible, and they all have versatility and can play multiple positions. So we could have a variety of options.
Josh?
Hey, Flo, I wanted to ask about the safeties with Rowan, Bobby McCain. Just how much benefit is there, going into year two of, that they have several games in the position, and also being able to incorporate the physicality of Brandon Jones in that group?
Yeah, I think Eric and Bobby, I played together for let's call it half a year, maybe less than that. But they played together some. so they have a little bit of a rapport. You add Brandon to that. You add Kayvon Frazier to that. You know, you got a mix of different people. So still trying to build that communication, that rapport. But, you know, those two guys, I mean, it's very important to them. So they'll do what it takes to build those relationships and try to do it the way we're asking them to do it. Brandon Jones, you know, he's a young player. He's, you know, improving on a daily basis, but he's still got a long way to go, just like all of our young players. And, you know, every practice is good for him. Every game experience is good for him. And, you know, they're working hard this week to prepare for a very, very tough opponent, you know, in the Bills with the quarterback and the running game and, you know, some receivers who are explosive, you know, and tight ends. And, I mean, this is a good offense that, you know, they've got tempo in their offense. So we have to be prepared for that as well. So we need as many guys like Bobby and Eric to communicate and, you know, play at a good level and bring other players with them. And I think they're trying to do that also.
Steve One.
Brian, many signs up in Buffalo say they're a franchise that's trending upward. Do you see games against the Bills as important as any you'll play if you're going to get to where you all want to go?
I mean, I would agree that they're trending upward. This is a good football team, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. They're well coached. They're tough. They're physical. You know, every game's important. You know, Steve. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're playing in this league. They're all tough. They're all important. So, you know, obviously division games are very important. So, but look, we take these one game at a time. We want to compete. We want to put our best foot forward. We're practicing. We're trying to practice so that we, in a way that gives us an opportunity to play well and be competitive. But every game's important.
Joe Shad.
Sorry, Coach. I'm here in my car. Hopefully you can hear me.
I got you.
I'm not moving. I promise you.
Yeah, good. I'm worried about your safety, Joe.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I noticed that Tua Tagovailoa is no longer on the injury report. We haven't had a chance to talk to him in a minute, so I wanted to ask you how he's feeling and what's changed.
He's doing well. He's really going into the from a rehab standpoint or just a strength training standpoint. He's doing what everyone else is doing, so we felt like we could take him off, and he's doing well physically and mentally, and getting practice reps and trying to improve from a football standpoint, from a learning and being a professional standpoint, like all rookies. He's doing well, and he's learning. So health-wise, though, from a health standpoint, he's obviously it was a serious injury, and he's done a great job as far as getting himself back healthy and getting himself to a point where he can practice and and take a lot of reps. So he's trending in the right direction from a health standpoint.
Cam Wolf.
Good morning, Flo. Want to ask, I guess, a little two-parter on Devontae Parker, if I could. How did he come out of practice with that hammy yesterday, and does his past history with soft tissue injuries have any impact on how far you push him as far as playing Sunday?
Well, as far as the history, I mean, I don't really kind of look into that, too much. How are we right now? Where are we right now? That's kind of where, how my conversations with Devontae are and our training staff. I thought he was out of practice yesterday. We'll see. We're taking this thing one day at a time. We'll see where we're at, for the game. And, that's really all I have for you right now. I mean, it's still early. We still got a couple days before we got to get there. He's doing everything he can to get out there. And, but no, we don't take, previous hamstring injuries. We're really just focused on this particular one, which, has limited him some, but, he's doing everything he can to get back out there.
Stop it.
Hey, Flo, I'm certainly not one to be mask police, but I wanted to ask you what were your thoughts of the memo that came out about coaches and personnel on the sideline wanting to wear more masks and how you guys can be better in that area?
Oh, we just got to wear them, and there is some difficulty trying to communicate, with the guys up in the booth. But at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than the health and safety of our team, the people around the league. So, we'll do a better job from that standpoint. We ask our players to be diligent in the building, and it's important. So, it's you can be mask police. I got no problem with that. Well, I'll wear it, and I'll try to do a better job. But if a guy can't hear me, then then I got to find a new mask, and that's some of the things that we've just got to work through. And it's not just me; there's coaches around the league. I mean, it's new and it's different for everyone. But we all have to adjust. That's the game. That's the league. That's what we ask the players to do. So we have to adjust also.
Get this Toyota mask from VIP.
Time for one more. We'll go to Omar.
Tell you, this Toyota mask VIP, coach. You could use that.
Victory's mine. I want to ask you about young players. When you play young players as early as you do, I know you give them small roles at first. When do you come to the point where you realize, hey, this isn't too big enough for them? Is it film study? Is it when you're meeting in meeting rooms in preparation for the game? When do you realize, hey, what I'm giving them isn't too big enough for them?
I think it's case by case, Omar, and I think it's a small role, and then that role turns into a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I think you guys would see that over the course of 5 or 6 games. When do you realize it's not too big for them? That takes a little bit more time. You need stretches of games of consistency to really feel good that they understand how to be a professional, that complacency doesn't set in, and now we watch, hey, we got all the answers, and we watch a little less tape, and to me, that's the thing. Those are the things that I try to harp on. Good performance or bad performance, we still have to watch the film. We have to know our next opponent. We have to get our lifts in. We have to stay on course with our nutrition. We got to stay on course with our conditioning. Like, those are the things. It's not one game. It's not 2 games. It's not, once you start stringing 4 or 5 games together, then that means you're doing something. You've been doing something over the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, that's just my belief. Because I think the guys who become complacent, the guys who think they have all the answers, eventually it catches up to them. I mean, that's been my experience with players. So we just try to stay on them about, keeping to their routine, and just the importance of not veering off of that. Because, in this league with so many good players and so many good coaches, they'll find you, if you're taking shortcuts. And, we try to not allow that, but, that's something, individually for each player that they realize it, oftentimes, when it's too late. But as with the amount of, 3 years that guys are in the league, I mean, oftentimes it's too late. So the players, the young players, I'm thinking, figure it out early enough, that routine, that attention to detail, that the discipline of playing play after play after play and playing consistently, once they realize how important that is, then you could see what you're talking about, whether or not it's not too big for them.
There you go. That's the head coach. Not a lot there today. Not a lot of meat on the matter. I think there's more meat on the matter, I would imagine, on the move by the Miami Dolphins to release Jake Rudock and to sign Reed Sinnett out of San Diego, the 23-year-old, which I think that's why you guys were bringing it up, that now Tua is off the injury list. There might be a turn here, folks. Some of you might be onto something that you were chatting about it there on the chat board. I think you might be onto something, and I think it might be dangerous territory for the Dolphins, personally for me, but that's just my opinion.
Buffalo Bills are not the New England Patriots front line. We did give up just 1 sack, very encouraging, but this Buffalo Bills defensive front That's a different animal, man.
Now they must feel something because they just asked him about Tua, and he said, "Hey, Tua's doing everything everybody else is doing." So we felt we didn't need to put him on the injured list already, that he's just like every other player now. So they must feel, okay, I'm not really comfortable with this, but they must feel like he's ready to take a hit. That's what that tells me. Now, do I agree with that? No, I don't. You know me, I'm going to stay with this. I think they should wait till November or December. But I don't know if the coach is going to say, well, if the offensive line continues to play well like they did this week and Fitz continues to struggle, I was wondering who they signed. And if they signed somebody with a little bit more experience, which you can do in today's practice squad, then you can still have that person come off the practice squad straight into the game ahead of Tua. But now, if you're going to sign a rookie in Reed Sinnett, because I remember this guy's name when he was coming into the draft, then you're not going to put this kid ahead of Tua, because this kid just got here to learn this system and he's a rookie, and that doesn't make any sense. With Ruddick, it would make sense because Ruddick's been in the league a few years now, so he's kind of settled in already at this point. So I get that, but in this case, some of you out there might be onto something. It looks like they're ready to play Tua. He is the next quarterback for sure, whereas I was convinced it was going to be Ruddick, right, because of the experience, and then you don't have to sacrifice Tua, especially if the team is not playing well up front. That would be a problem, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I would think that Tua was not going to play right away. Now, if Reed Sinnett is the guy and you don't have Jake Ruddick in there, and here's the other thing that tells you about this move. They must like something about this kid, right? Like they must legitimately like something about him that they can work on and try to develop. And that's why they brought him in. Because if you're going to let go of a guy like Ruddick, who at least you're comfortable with, that knows your team a little bit, and there's a comfort zone there, and he's got some experience, so at least you can throw him out there to get by a game or whatever. This tells me that they didn't have a lot of respect for Rosen. They didn't think they were going to build much there. They look at Ruddick as a guy that was just to kind of get you by during this time with Tua. Now they must feel Tua is 100% or as close as you can get from a hip injury. That's what it has to be here, okay? Which I'm a little shocked that in week 2, in the middle of September 17th, that you're already at this point. That's kind of odd. I'm not comfortable with Tua taking hits, but they've got the doctors, they've got the coaches, they're around the kid all the time. It's their call, man. It's their call. But there's no doubt that is one thing that I'm getting from all of this, is that they are pretty much ready to play Tua if they have to. It's not something that they're willing to go to right away, right now. That's what they want to do. But you can tell that it's something that if it comes up now and they need a quarterback, it's going to be him. He's the next guy in line.
Let me throw a scenario. Just, we're battling for a playoff spot, and Fitz goes down. Maybe this to see if we could rely on Tua in the event something like that transpires, or do we need to make a move before the trade deadline?
They're not doing that. They would have signed a veteran out there. They would have done that already.
They wouldn't have waited to see if we're in the playoffs or not.
No. This tells me that they are moving to the next step with Tua now. They're convinced.
I'll be honest. I feel like you, man. We're not even talking, because you're talking late November. This is only 10 months of that hit, man.
I know.
And you're still talking a rookie defensive line. You know something?
Offensive line.
I'm sorry. Yes, offensive line. If if Buffalo's defensive line does a number on us, does that path change? Maybe. You know what I mean? There's a lot of variables here.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see how they handle all of this. You know?
10 months, man. 10 months.
There's no doubt that they're telling us that Tua has taken another step closer to starting with all of these moves. If you're willing to let go of Ruddick and pick up a kid, a baby, and put him on the practice squad, then you're looking to develop that guy. You must like something about him. But also,
yeah, and this guy doesn't know nothing about our system. Ruddock's at least been with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
he knows, you know?
Yeah, so I just think that this is something that this tells you that they're willing to, take a chance with the guy now. That's kind of scary. Mike says, I think the Dolphins approached that New England game as a preseason game from an offensive standpoint. The simplistic deep passes and run between the tackles were to see if the O-line were up to the task. Mike, you know Brian Flores already. If it's a real game, he's trying to win, bro. They just got outplayed, my man. Don't look at it that way. They're not good enough to approach anything that way, okay, where they can experiment and give away a game or anything like that. A guy like Flo, he coached that game to win that game, and so did everybody else. They just couldn't win that game because they weren't good enough. That's all.
Yeah, we're not like holding back anything
No.
to save for, we're all in on a W.
Yeah. No, I don't think it had anything to do with that. Man of 1,005 host says, if Tua's ready, go right ahead. We trusted Flores for a while. Let's keep trusting him. You're right. I mean, you could do that. I'm not a fan of putting him in there right now, 10 months removed from that surgery. I am not a fan of that. But now, listen, that's not to say he's going to play this week or next week or in the next month. If Fitz is healthy and playing well for the next month, Tua's not going to see the light of day. I think that's what they're hoping for. They're not hoping to throw him into the fire right now, but they kind of feel he's already ready for it now. In other words, health-wise, he has taken a step forward that they're willing to take the chance instead of putting Ruddick in there. So then they said, okay, we don't need Ruddick anymore for emergency purposes. Let's use the practice squad for what it's meant for, development. Let's go find a kid that's got something that we can develop in. And that's, I would imagine, what they saw in Sinet, some kind of a development guy. Let's see. Is anyone else thinking that the coaches in Tampa still wanted Rosen? This could have been an under-the-table trade that works for everybody. No Tua-Rosen conflict. No, because it was a release, my brother. And then he cleared waivers. So there can't be any kind of a trade or anything. You can't do that if you're letting somebody go to risk them going through waivers, you can't guarantee the other team's going to get them. So that makes no sense whatsoever. The Finns have had a horrible history playing players that have been injured. Do not play Tua until November. Hey, listen, just because I don't want him to play to November and maybe you don't want him to play to November, maybe the kid's a quick healer. That's all. Just because he's injury prone doesn't mean he doesn't heal. So maybe he's a quick healer, and maybe they're right. And they're the ones that take x-rays and MRIs on this thing all the time, and they keep up with all this stuff. So, again, it's like the other listener said, got to give him the benefit of the doubt at least. At this point, that's what we have to do. We have no choice. All right, 786-322-1105. Ryan Fitzpatrick did address the media. He did that yesterday in the afternoon. Let's hear from the Dolphins starting quarterback, and we'll get the latest from Fitz Magic. Go ahead.
Fitzy, how you doing? It's happy to see you again. How important is it for you to kind of just get back out there and have another start under your belt after Sunday's performance?
Yeah, I mean, the best medicine for a performance like that is getting back on the practice field and getting back out there. So today was a great day for us. Just new opponent, new week, starting fresh, just getting into the preparation. But, obviously you don't want to have weeks like I had last week, and, that can't happen if we're going to win football games. So just put everything I have into this week and move on. And for me and the roller coaster I've been on, I have have an easy way of putting things like that behind me and moving on.
Mike?
Ryan, I just want to ask how important it is having Devontae Parker on the field, not only because of the talent he brings, but I'm assuming his presence also opens things up for other receivers on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, we always want to have our best players out there, and he's definitely one of them for us. So, you definitely better with our best guys on the field, and just hope that he's out there, and whoever it is that's out there, nobody feels sorry for us. Nobody, on our squad is going to go is going to play any softer, or we're all going to give it all we have and try to win the game. So we'll have a plan to go out there and do just that.
Josh?
Hey, Fitz, I asked you about this on Sunday, but now that you've had a chance to digest, seeing some film and everything, the incorporation of Myles Gaskin, just knowing the weapons you guys have with Jordan Howard and Matt Breida, how does that third kind of element, with what he does in terms of breaking tackle, being elusive, bring to the table, and being able to also see him do that on the field on Sunday?
Yeah, it was fun. Myles has had a great offseason, training camp, and so it was good to see him go out there and put it together in a game and do some good things for us. I think we have a lot of talent back there in the backfield, and so those touches will get spread around. But that's a good problem for us to have, and Chan will do his best to figure out how to do it. But it's a good problem having that many talented guys in the backfield for us.
Adam?
Fitz, I'm curious, when you went back and watched the tape, were there some throws where maybe your progression didn't take you to the open guy? And do you have to kind of beat on yourself a little bit to not be reliant on Devontae, reliant on Mike, that there might be, your third guy in your progression might be the best option?
I mean, every week is different. New England's such a big man team. So a lot of times it's, who's going to win the one-on-one matchup, really. And so in a zone, when you play against a zone defense, sometimes the progression comes in a little bit more in that regard. And if you're reading top down or left to right, and so, some of it was just me not making either the right throw or picking the right matchup. But just stuff that I need to get better at. And, for me, knowing that there's things that I need to do to improve, I think I can get those done, and I think we'll be in a better spot this week.
Steve?
Ryan, you talk about bouncing back and moving on. You've obviously got a lot of experience with those things. How has your ability to do that evolved over your career, and what do you see as the secret? We've all heard all the cliches, but what do you tap into on that?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's hard, though. It's one of those things. You walk into the locker room after a game when you know you didn't do your best as a quarterback and let the team down. That's hard. It's hard to face those guys. So the best thing that I've learned is just to pour everything I have into the next week of preparation, into that next game. And, there's a fine line there. There's a balance, too, because I can't sit here and put so much pressure on myself this game to go out and be perfect. But at the same time, I've got to move on from last week. I've got to do a great job of getting everybody where they're supposed to be, throwing the ball to the right spot, and doing the best we can on offense to generate some more confidence and some more rhythm. And that falls on me. But a lot of it for me is just the week of preparation, how we're doing in practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the discussions, the communication, the talk, making sure that everybody is into it and everybody knows this is a new week. But those are the type of things you really try to focus on after a bad week.
Cam?
Fitzy, what's up, man? I wanted to ask, I guess, how expansive or advanced do you feel like you were able to be with the offense, given that it was week one? Were you able to do as much of the playbook as you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing with Chan and, the way that this system works is it's really, you try to figure out each week the best way to attack a defense. And, he's very, very multiple in what he can do. So Sometimes it'll evolve week to week. Sometimes it'll look the same, but I think we felt very comfortable going into the game with the plan that we had. I think guys did a good job of understanding what we're trying to get done, and we just got to do a better job of going out there and executing it. But so far, so good this week. Great day of practice today. Just, it wasn't perfect, but in terms of the intensity and the way that we practiced and starting to understand and digest a little bit how we're going to attack the Bills. But each week is definitely different. And, one of Chan's strengths is being able to change it up team to team and make it easy on our guys mentally.
Travis?
Hey, Fitz, kind of wanted to go off of a couple of questions you answered already. You talked about the challenges of going between a man and zone defense and also how you want to best approach, each week's opponent. This Buffalo Bills defense has a couple of guys that really just get ball production, and Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and Tre'Davious White. How is your approach going up against those guys in maybe more of a zone-based defense?
Well, and really this defense is just very multiple in what they do. They can do a lot of different things, but
Good
you
players,
look at
we
some of
gotta
that
be
stuff.
smart.
Micah Hyde, definitely a ball hawk. You put it anywhere close to him, he's going to catch it. Tre'Davious White, obviously having a little bit of experience playing against him. He does a great job and was rewarded for that. He's a tough guy, tough matchup. But at the same time, there are certain things when we're going, we've got to play to our strengths too. And, we've got to rely on our guys to go out there and make plays and put them in good positions. So,
cliches and
each week is a different challenge. They definitely have a very good, fast, experienced defense, and what they're, everybody understanding what they're trying to get done. And so it's funny every week. This is a lot different looking defense than New England's was, but in terms of productivity, these guys are really tough to play against as well. So it'll be a good challenge for them.
Cliches.
Hi. Yesterday, a couple of the coaches talked about Tua and the learning experience that Sunday was for a rookie, his first time on the sidelines. Obviously, your primary goal has to be to win the ball game. I understand that, but looking back, what can you share with us in terms of how much you think Tua may have learned from watching you on Sunday and maybe talking to you in film study over the past day or two?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I probably talked more on the bench than I normally would in between series, just talking with him, talking through, what I was seeing, what they were doing. And it's good for me. It's good for me to walk through those things. But I, especially in talking through some of those things, want him to kind of understand what I'm seeing and to be able to ask questions, even if it isn't a game-like setting. And I thought we had a good back and forth, good rapport on the sideline. And he asked some really good questions, and it seemed like he saw the game. He saw the game pretty decent from the sideline in terms of the stuff that we were talking about and some of the questions he was asking. So it was good, and it was a good start just to build on that communication now. Just being another set of eyes for me to be able to trust. I thought he did a nice job.
All right, we'll take one more, Safin.
Does that go both ways too with Tua? Is Tua telling you something that you saw that he saw that maybe you didn't see? And also, I did want to ask you real quick. It seemed like after Newton scored the first touchdown, you were putting on your helmet. He tapped you and smiled on your helmet. Maybe you said a joke there or something to make him laugh. I don't know. That was a really great.
I don't really remember, but
you could run like Cam did.
Yeah, I don't really remember that moment, but there's certain things that maybe I'll ask him to watch for during the game.
Yeah.
That I can get some feedback on, but at the same time, you roll a little bit too, in terms of what you can say and can't say sometimes. But there's definitely some stuff. As quarterbacks, you just see the game differently sometimes. So there's some stuff I'll tell him to keep an eye on. Whether it's safety depth or corners and how we're doing out there, or 2 minutes, something that happens in 2 minutes. But he'll be a good asset.
All right, there you go. That's the quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Really not much there. And
that flavor was all vanilla, bro.
Yeah, well, what is there really? There's no tough questions to ask him right now. We're only one week in. What are you going to do? Hammer the 3 interceptions away? Like Super Boom Shack was making a joke Fitz, how will you feel if you throw 3 more interceptions? I mean, you're not going to ask him that, you know. I put LOL there because he's just being a smartass, and it's funny. But there wasn't really much that you can actually ask him that there's any kind of difficult questions, you know. I mean, the only thing you could ask him, and you'd have to wait for another game or two of struggles, is say, Fitz, last year you were replaced by Rosen, and then you had to come back. Are you again kind of looking over your shoulder because they drafted another player? They traded for one last year. They drafted one this year. And he's going to say, no, I'm going to go play my game and all that. But that's about the toughest question you can ask him. You know, there's really not, in defense of the writers, there's really not any real tough questions unless you want to be a smartass.
Plus, we don't have much of a track record. Like you're saying, we've got 1 week. That's it.
It's one game. We can't
There
do
isn't like we've seen a whole preseason and this has been happening for a month and a half.
Yeah, if he's been doing it for 4 or 5 weeks, throwing 3 interceptions, then there's a lot of controversy to talk about. But, I mean, anybody's entitled to a bad game. I mean, look, Tom Brady's getting a ton of heat for the 2 interceptions. Now, his actually, Tom Brady had a worse game than Fitz. Because Fitz, for me, only was to blame for 1 interception, not all 3. You know, it's kind of lazy for some people out there. Oh, he threw 3 interceptions. He was terrible. No, he didn't throw really 3. Those aren't his fault if you really look at it, you know?
Change of gears here, sir.
Yes, Anthony Perez, by the way, before we change gears, giving us some love on the Super Chat. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you as you chime in with a little Super Chat. And I figure we do this because we talked to Anthony Perez now, who just sent us the Super Chat. We will break and come back with Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald. So we'll stay in the role of Anthony. We talk a little Heat Celtics with the Heat beat writer for the Miami Herald next. Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere, and of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're ready to rock. And tonight, the Miami Heat at 7 o'clock play Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They are leading 1-0 in this best-of-7 series. We'll see if they can take a 2-game lead. They are underdogs. Celtics are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 208.5. A man that's been covering the Miami Heat on a daily basis for the last couple of years is Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald. You can follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Anthony, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Big O. How are you?
I am loving life, sir. Can't complain. I'm hoping that they can go 2-0. Before I ask you about the Heat and the Celtics, just out of curiosity, your thoughts on what happened with the Clippers and their cave-in?
I was shocked, honestly. Like from the beginning of the season and even up until they were up 3-1 against Denver, I was convinced the Clippers are going to win the title. Like I just thought they had the best team. I still think they had the best roster in the NBA, just from top to bottom. It just never came together. It was one of those things where, sometimes, a lot of times, like the big three, the first year you saw the Heat, it wasn't the best form of the big three, but they made it to the NBA Finals and lost. It was disappointing, but they made it to the Finals. But to have a team like that lose in the second round, it was very surprising.
I don't know if you heard my theory yesterday. I think Kawhi Leonard's a great player, and that's where it ends, my brother. Kawhi Leonard was drafted into San Antonio, where a culture was in place, where players knew what they had to do, and then all he had to do was be a player. He didn't have to really lead. Then he gets traded to Toronto, where a culture is already in place. Everybody knows what they have to do. They play hard as hell because that's how it's always been established, and they proved it again this year by the way they played, and they maxed out their roster again this year. There's a culture in place. There's no culture in Clipperland. There never has been. And so that's the problem with them. And so now when things were going awry and you got one guy that wants to just worry about his lemon pepper wings and you got another guy that's worried about takeout and you've got, all this crap going on, they needed a guy to kind of bring everybody together and rattle their cages. And LeBron will do that. You know what I mean? Certain leaders will do that on teams. I think we've learned that Kawhi Leonard is not a leader. He's a leader as a player, that he'll play great, but when it comes to the locker room and taking charge and creating a culture and sometimes doing the ugly stuff like getting in people's faces, I don't think Kawhi's that guy. And I think Kawhi was missing a franchise without culture, and that falls obviously on Doc Rivers. Because this is his third time that he loses a 3-1 lead and gets eliminated. So that also shows that he does not adjust, but it also shows that the Clippers, you threw a whole bunch of talent together, but there was no culture in place. And I know that, it's a cliche that we use, but it's a cliche that matters, bro. It's one that is real because we see it with our Heat team. No matter who plays, there's a culture in place. And I think that's what the Clippers were missing. They were missing a culture and they were missing a leader.
I think you might be onto something there. Kawhi is not known to be that vocal leader. He's an incredible talent, one of the best two-way players in the league, one of the best two-way players
ever,
maybe ever. But yeah, sometimes, I think my thought was going into it was talent might override, might just override culture, but I didn't. I mean, I just thought they had so much talent, but Paul George didn't look like Paul George in the playoffs, and they just could never get it together. So yeah, it was very surprising. It'll be interesting to see what that team looks like next year. I could see them bringing it back just because it is a good team, and seeing what happens in the second year together. But who knows? That team could also look very different next season. So it'll be an interesting offseason for them.
It's funny because, look, you're around the guy all the time. At the moment, you're not as much, but you've seen it firsthand, even live or on TV. While you can't compare Jimmy Butler to Kawhi Leonard, the player, you can't compare Kawhi Leonard to Jimmy Butler, the leader. It's funny, but that's as good as Kawhi Leonard is, and as better as he is as an athlete, as a basketball player than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is the same. He's that much better than Kawhi Leonard handling a locker room.
Yeah, right? I mean, I've seen Jimmy after games in the regular season in the middle of January when, nobody's really watching too closely. I've seen him after games call out a teammate or two for their defense while the media's in there. Just literally call, like as they're walking by, stop his interview and say something to them as they walk by, just to send a message. And that's who Jimmy is. I mean, rub some players and coaches the wrong way as we've seen in the past, but for the Heat, they love it. I mean, they love it, and obviously it's working right now.
Let me ask you something. In Chicago and in Minnesota, does Jimmy get justified now? And should we point the fingers at the young players in Chicago and Minnesota because obviously he doesn't have a problem with these young players, and everybody says, well, Jimmy's having trouble with the young players. Well, maybe it was young players that weren't willing to work hard, weren't willing to sacrifice like him, and that's what this entire franchise is all about. So if you're a young guy or an old guy, you got to sacrifice the same in this franchise. So does Jimmy get kind of, cleaned from all that stuff that happened in Minnesota and Chicago? Maybe we all misunderstood it ourselves, and now that we see it up close, these guys are responding to him. Why didn't Karl Anthony Towns and these other cats respond to him?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so, and it's funny because it seems like the narrative around Jimmy Butler has changed because obviously they're having a lot of the Heat are having a lot of success. He's playing very well. They're kind of the surprise team in the playoffs along with the Denver Nuggets, make it to the conference finals. But I've been talking to people around Jimmy, and they're like, he has not changed at all. It's not like he's changed and the narrative has changed. It's just that this is just the perfect fit. I was talking to Dwayne Wade for a story I wrote last week on the Heat and just his take on everything that's happening. And he said, I don't know if there's another organization that would work for Jimmy. I think the Heat might be the only organization Jimmy could really be on and thrive in. And you're seeing, I think, you could point to Minnesota and Philly and Chicago and say, what did you do? Why did you let this guy go? He's a guy who's a winner and he could, make your young guys better. But I also think the Heat are in the minority here with putting up with some of Jimmy's, he's not, like I said, he will call teammates out in public. He will call them out in the media if it's needed, like he did in Chicago and got fined and benched. That's who Jimmy is. But it's just that the Heat, I mean, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra love it. That's what they are too. I mean, they're not going to call guys out publicly, but they hold guys accountable each and every day, and they ride them, and they want them to be as good as they can. And as Pat Riley says, it's winning, and then there's misery. And that's how Jimmy feels too. He wants to win at all costs.
But he also sees it from Spo. Spo will rip into guys just like Riley did. Used to rip into anybody that needed to get ripped into if they weren't getting it done. Riley would do it too. And Spo over the years has become much more vocal and much more open at ripping into guys. I mean, hell, you see him rip into Duncan right on the sideline sometimes. You see him talk to guys especially some of these young guys. He'll pull them aside and tell them exactly what the hell they're doing wrong.
Yeah, no, Spo has, I think the marriage between Jimmy and Spo has been very good so far. I mean, obviously, look, we don't know how Jimmy would be if the Heat were struggling because they haven't struggled much this year. There was a rough patch, but it was right before, the shutdown. So we don't know next year if the Heat come back and they start out 3-9. We don't know how Jimmy's going to be in the locker room. We don't know if that's going to become an issue. But for now, and that's in this first season, I mean, it's what we thought. I mean, we thought it before the season. Like, he's just the perfect fit. He's not for everybody. And as the Heat like to say, they're not for everybody either. And but they're for each other. And that's what matters, at the moment.
Let me ask you something. If you remember when Luke Skywalker got his hand cut off by Darth Vader, They then had an operation that they installed a mechanical hand in there. I'm just wondering, does Bam have a mechanical hand? Because, you know, how in the hell do you block that and not shatter all your fingers and everything? Because I know my hand would have been completely mangled if they're trying to dunk on me like that.
That was my first thought after the block. Like when I saw the replay, I said, how did he not injure his wrist? Like I was fully expecting the next day on the injury report for it to say Bam Adebayo questionable with a sprained wrist.
Right.
But no, I don't know how he did it. It was an amazing, incredible block. One of those iconic plays that, you know, we'll see at least down here for sure for a long, long time. I mean, that's to have a block of that caliber against the Boston's best player, one of the most talented young players in the league, in that moment with the game on the line, game one of the conference finals on the line, just the context of it. I mean, the only block I could think of in NBA, in playoff history that might, be better than that one that comes to mind is LeBron's on Andre Iguodala in Game 7 of the NBA Finals when
everybody talks
Cleveland
about
won.
that one, but that one's from behind. I'm more impressed by Bosh getting to Danny Green in the corner against
True.
San Antonio. Actually,
True.
They're both big, but there's nothing like somebody dunking on you and you block them. I mean, that's just nasty, bro.
It's funny though because Bam is not a shot blocker. He's not known as a shot blocker. He can block a shot, sure. He'll get a block or two a game, but he's not Hassan Whiteside. He's not Alonzo Mourning. He's not like the traditional shot blocker. But it was cool to see him get that moment because he does so much. He does everything else on defense. He's incredible on defense. He's everywhere. You look at different highlights, different plays from Game 1. He is guarding pretty much 4 or 5 guys on every possession. Moving all over the court, and it doesn't get that much attention because it's hard to really notice that sometimes. But for him to get the recognition he deserves on defensive end for getting that block, he deserves that and more because he does everything defensively for this Heat team.
So it's good stuff. Follow Anthony, by the way, on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Anthony, you start to look at tonight. The money keeps coming in on the Celtics. It's gone from 2 to 2.5 now. It was 1.5 in the first game. Now it's up to 2.5. So Vegas feels good about the Celtics. Make Heat fans feel good about themselves. Why would you like the Heat tonight?
Well, they didn't play that well in Game 1. They didn't. I mean, everyone I talked to.
Duncan foul trouble, bro. Come on, there.
Duncan foul trouble. Even Jimmy, I mean, he played good in the end, but he was quiet for the first 3 quarters. Tyler Hero played well, but other than that, they didn't get much contribution from their bench. I think from what people I've talked to around the Heat, people close to Heat players, like they've all said after that game, we didn't play that well. They feel like they stole that one. That wasn't a game that they're really supposed to win. They were down 14 with 10 minutes left, and they come back and win. So I think they feel like they can play better. But at the same time, and I know your question is for me to make Heat fans feel better, I do think Boston can play a lot better too. I mean, they really controlled that game most of the way, and then they turned to isolation basketball and really struggled. And it was Boston's worst defensive performance of the playoffs, which they have an elite defense. The Heat's offense has something to do with that, obviously, but I think Boston thinks they play better defensively, and if they have a stronger fourth quarter, they probably win Game 1. So I understand why people think Boston are going to bounce back. Boston's going to bounce back tonight, but at the same time, the Heat can play better, and if they do, I expect another close game. I think every game in this series is going to be very close because they're pretty evenly matched, and they're both very good teams.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And if you're trying to get a win tonight, what are you doing? You're continuing to create havoc for Kemba Walker, and what else?
Well, that, and to me, Bam is a mismatch for them offensively. They don't have a guy who can guard Bam, and I was surprised you didn't see that more often. Go to that more often in Game 1. I mean, their tallest guy really that they play is 6'8". I would get Bam more involved, and that will create open shooters on the outside too because that'll collapse the defense. So to me, I think you continue to play the defense. You're playing against Kemba. Jason Tatum is going to get his, but if you can take Kemba out of the game and Jaylen Brown like they did in Game 1, and then continue to shoot efficiently and get a big game from Bam, I think the Heat could win. They could win tonight. But again, I just game one did not change my view of this series. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. I think most games are going to come down to who plays better in the final 90 seconds. And it's just going to be one of those series where it's going to be very, there are going to be a lot of nerves. It's going to be there'll be a lot of cool moments that we'll remember just because it is going to be so close.
I'm with you. I think Bam is the mismatch and the bench. I think those are the two strengths of the Heat. I said that before game one, and the game was won by 3. The bench outscored their bench by 4. That was kind of the difference in the game, and obviously Bam with the block. To me, those are the 2 wild cards in all of this. The bench plays well, and Duncan did not play well. That would help out a lot. And if you get that going, I mean, hell, they had a guy that almost got a triple-double off the damn bench, which is just absolutely amazing. And you get that going, I think you have a shot. And I'm with you. I picked Miami in 7. Now, Tyler Hero, how do you – I almost have to ask, how do we get him involved more in the offense? Like, I know that what I love is his maturity and patience, that he's been willing to find the open man. He'll settle on a layup, on a short jumper. He'll hit that 3. But when I look at his offense, I'm almost like, maybe you need to have him shoot a little bit more.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, he's 20. He just played 40 minutes in his first ever Eastern Conference Finals game. And I'm with you. Like, I'm not saying I'm with you, but it's just funny how we're asking, how could you get more involved? Just because that's how good he's been.
Right.
It's been incredible to watch. It really has. Like, I feel like every game, us reporters are asking Spo, like, can you explain this? Like, how is this happening? You almost wait for him to have that rookie moment where, okay, he's a rookie, he's 20. It's going to happen. But to start the Eastern Conference Finals off with a near triple-double, the most and yeah, you want to get him more involved in offense, but the most important and impressive thing for me in that game was the all-around performance. I remember from the regular season, which feels like 2 years ago with everything that's happened between now and then, but I think it was like in December, we were in Philadelphia, and the Heat got blown out. And I just remember the next day, the discussion was they had a huge film session, and the point of it was, Tyler Hero, there's more to basketball than just scoring. You have to rebound, you have to pass the ball, you have to be a playmaker, you have to play defense. And what we saw, in that first game, to get, I think, 11 rebounds and 9 assists, and he played pretty good defense. I mean, to stay out there on the court against that Boston team, which has so many good offensive players, he played solid defense. Just his all-around game, the way we knew he could score the ball, but just everything else he's doing, it's really impressive how good how much he's improved in those areas just in pretty much a year. It's encouraging for the Heat for sure.
Dude, the vision and the quickness that he had to make that bounce pass. Who was it? Crowder, I think, right? Was it Crowder?
I think it was Bam. I think it was Bam.
It was Bam. It was Bam because it was a nice slam. Yes, you're right. I mean, just that quickness and the thinking. It just, here's the question I have for you now. Because you've all written this, we've all talked about this all across the country, locally. Well, the Heat are looking for that 3rd star. Do they really need to look for that 3rd star anymore, or just make the cap space for Bam or Tyler? Because you might just be developing your number 2 and your number 3, which might end up becoming your 1 and 2s when it's all said and done in the next couple of years here with those 2 guys. So what do you think the plan is? Still to go get that big star? Because you and I know free agency is not deep this year. It's not like there's a great selection. It's the following off season. But dude, by then, Bam might be a superstar by that point.
Yeah. No, I think the good thing for the Heat is right now they don't have to make that decision because they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna have max cap space in 2021. So theoretically, they could keep all those guys and sign a big name free agent when there's going to be some free agents out there, including Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who have options that year. And if this Clippers experiment continues to go wrong, who knows what happens with them? And if you could pair one of those guys or another star with a core of Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler, I mean, that team is obviously a title contender. I think that your question comes into play when you say, okay, what happens if Bradley Beal next season says, I don't want to play for Washington. I want to be traded. If you're the Heat, do you offer Tyler Hero in the trade? I think, that's the question because, to get a star like that, it's going to take that. The Heat obviously aren't going to give up Jimmy, I don't think, and they're not going to give up Bam, but Tyler might be the guy that you're going to have to make that decision with.
Oh.
And that's the tough call. I guess what?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Tyler keeps improving like this. I don't know if I want to trade him for Bradley
Hands
Beal
off.
anymore.
Hands
man.
off.
I don't know. I know Bradley Beal can score and all of that. I like the kid. But, dude, it's not like Tyler's not developing into that same guy. Maybe even more versatile, actually.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't disagree with that. I guess the one variable to play devil's advocate is Jimmy's 30. He just turned 31.
Right.
So you need to win now. I mean, you're going to be good, with Tyler Hero and Bam probably even after Jimmy's, done. But you want to win now. So you have the 2 or 3 years for Tyler Hero to get to his peak and to get to the guy where maybe he is an all-star, maybe, he's averaging 24, 25 points a game, or do you go after that star who's going to help you win a title right now? I know it's crazy to say because the Heat are 7 games away from winning a championship, but that's kind of the decision the Heat they're going to face, if a star becomes available. What do they do in that situation?
Crazy stuff, and he's covering it all, baby. That's Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Anthony, as always, you are a stud, my brother. Enjoy the game tonight. I hope they go 2-0, man. We'll talk again.
Talk to you soon, Big O. Thanks for having me on.
All right, my friend. Thank you for joining us. There you go. Anthony Chang, always busy, man, during this crazy time. But, hey, man, cool enough to join us for a couple of minutes, which is really, really nice on his part. Ray says, hands off Hero and Bam. They are untouchable, period, on any trades. They are developing. Hell no, I would not trade them, period. I would easily trade Hero a year ago, at the beginning of this year for Bradley Beal. Now I'm afraid. Now I'm terrified. Hero could turn out to be as good or better than Beal.
He's just getting started.
I know.
I mean, we scratched the surface, not even.
You realize that Tyler Hero 2 nights ago has had a moment in the playoffs that Bradley Beal has never had.
That's crazy, man. When you put it like that, I'm sorry, the scale is tipped, and it's you're not going anywhere, buddy.
I don't know how everybody else is going to perform in that position because I haven't seen them in that position. But I already saw this kid in that position. And I've seen him in this position now for 3 series. And the kid does not get small about anything. And so we're talking about Paul George, right? We were talking about that earlier. Here's a guy that's got as much or more talent than Tyler Hero any day of the week and twice on Sundays, and yet goes small on all the big moments in his career. And so then we don't even know how good Bradley Beal will be in those key moments because he's never been in those key moments. You ever seen him? Have you ever seen him in a Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals with almost a triple-double? Have you seen Bradley Beal do that? Because I've seen Tyler Hero do that. So I don't know how many players are going to do what Tyler Hero did, especially off the bench.
It's another factor, Not everybody fits Heat culture.
He does.
And this kid, we know.
Beal does.
But you know
Beal's a hard worker.
But you know what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
And Tyler.
But what I don't know about Bradley Beal is,
I've
never put him in that position in the Eastern
Conference.
Conference.
You step when we need you to step?
And he might be able to easily.
Look, the guy is
again, but
yes.
I don't know because
he hasn't been put to the fire.
He's stuck in Washington, bro. So it's not his fault. I get it. But I know what Tyler is already. Hard to trade what you already know what it is. Like Bam gets better and better every year. And now he has like a signature defensive moment, and I would still argue that, yeah, the LeBron block was awesome, but the Bosch block of Danny Green in the corner was just as important or maybe more important, man. I mean,
I got one question because I'm sure it's on some people, some of our listeners' minds out there. The fact that you drafted the kid, does that have a little bit of an extra?
Has everything to do with it.
Okay.
Has everything to do with it. When it's one of your own,
right?
Hell yeah, it makes a difference.
I feel that way, man.
It makes
Because
it's fans are like that.
Yeah,
Fans are like that, and
for
so
sure.
are they.
Not to take anything away from Zoe, but man, Wade is
right
from origin.
Right.
Us.
Right. That's fine. And so is this kid. And again,
right.
I know what Tyler's going to be in the key moments now. You don't know that about other players.
And he's just started.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
Man, the ceiling is
Yep.
in the clouds, okay?
Yep. Watching Beal at UF, I did not think he was going to be a baller. He turned out to be.
Turn around, please.
And he is a baller. He's a baller.
Look at that hat, man. Look
Oh,
how
yeah, it's a
old
classic,
that is. Like,
yeah. It's a classic
that's
look.
from the 70s, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's a 70s look. It may not be a 70s hat.
You know what? They always bring back.
Yeah, because see,
Yep.
it's got the aqua in the back of the.
Yes.
That's not something they would have done in the 70s.
You're right.
Okay. So
But it's definitely that
it's a throwback.
70s style.
It's a throwback look. Yeah.
Big time.
Yep.
You know what that would match up very nicely with? The banner you got hanging for the 73
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Perfect. Yes. Yes. Matthew says the Dolphins rebuild and the Heat is in its current stage is possibly heading towards the best era of Miami sports. Yeah, and you think about it. How about the Marlins? They got a bunch of young arms. You know, some of their bats are coming around. You know, Lewis
25 and 22,
By the way,
baby.
Lewis Brinson had a nice rope down the left field line last night. That was beautiful. It's nice to see Lewis Brinson having a little more success now than he's had early on in his career. But Marlins too. Let me tell you, if they prove that they're willing to compete and they're going to keep some of those guys, that's going to be a lot of fun too. So yes, we're headed for some great days for the Heat. We see what's going on with Inter Miami also, by the way. Forgot to mention that. The Dolphins with Tua, it's an exciting chapter that's about to start. Yeah, man, there's the Marlins. There's a lot of things going on. I mean, I talked about that about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that right now, no, it was last week, that it's a really good time now in South Florida sports because I think we're trending in the right direction. The only one that's a question mark is the Panthers. They're the only ones that are, behind, and they don't really have hope anymore right now because all those young guys are already old. They've already been in the league 6, 7, 8 years, and it's like, okay, well, you guys have proven that you've been in the league. What have you done? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals where they're kind of behind. But it's an exciting time in South Florida for most of our sports. Really is. It's good.
The reason I still hold out hope for our Panthers is ownership is willing to pay, buy whatever they can to win. And so we got good ownership.
No, we have great ownership, but the ownership, they don't make the trades. So they have to make sure that they hired the right GM
guy,
to make all those moves that you're talking about. So the Zito guy now is under the gun now, and he's got to prove that he's the guy. Right now all the right things are being said and all that. None of this means anything. Let's see what Zito does and see if he can actually straighten out the Panthers. But right now I can't say that they are because
we still have the same group that we
it's
had
the same
last
guys,
year,
But it's like I don't trust Barkov anymore. It's just like Barkov. You know what? Barkov has a lot of Kawhi in him. There you go. Yeah, he's a great talent, but he ain't gonna do anything in the locker room, bro. He's just not he's not a leader.
You're in great shape if he's your number 3.
Yeah, number 2, number 3. He can't be
You
the.
put him. You're even okay with him too.
Yeah, if you have a real dog at number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If you have the man at 1, then yes, I have no problem. And I'm not talking about it being a goalie. I'm talking it being a forward. I'm talking about a scorer. I'm talking about a guy that will command the locker room, whether it's a Sidney Crosby, a Connor McDavid, one of those kind of guys that are the guy.
A Kane from
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. Patrick Kane, yes. That kind of stuff. If you have that dog, then yes, Barkov can be. What Barkov cannot be is your number 1. He's proven that over and over and over again. He has the Kawhi Leonard disease. He can be the best talent on the team. He can't be the leader on the team because you will not be able to get it done.
Oh, we're at the top of the hour. We're, through another hour here. Do you want to break or do you want to do some music? Because that's a component that we've been missing today.
You know what? I can do a little music right now. Let me give you a little stuff that we have on music today. We got several stories on music. First of all, let's start off with the birthdays today. We start off in 1923. Hank Williams Sr., obviously Jr. wasn't born in 23. Senior was born in 23 in Mount Olive, Alabama, born Hiram King Williams. And sadly, he passed away on January 1st, 1953. Died at the age of 29, too. Hank Williams died at a really young age. 1950, Fee Waybill. I'll talk to you later, baby. From the American band The Tubes, the lead singer. Little white punks on dope. Anybody want that? That is always, and everybody knows she's a beauty, of course. So happy birthday to Fee Waybill. I saw them open up for, I saw John Waite open up for The Tubes over in the West Coast a couple years ago.
Election year, that video, talk to you later, politician, perfect timing.
That's true. 85, Jonathan Jacob Walker was born on this date. He is the bassist for the American band Panic at the Disco. There you go. So happy birthday to them. We go to events on this date in music history. Listen to this one. In 1931, RCA Victor. It was the first long-playing record, a 33 1/3 speed, was demonstrated at the Savoy Plaza Hotel in New York City by RCA Victor. The venture was doomed to fail, however, due to the high price of the record players, which started around $95. In 1931, $95 is a lot of money, which they say it's about $1,140 in today's market. And it wasn't revived until 1948. So while they displayed it in 31, it didn't really get its life until 1948. How crazy is that? 1964, the Beatles, during their U.S. tour, appeared at Municipal Stadium in Kansas City. The Beatles were paid $150,000 for the show, which was more than any other act had ever been paid for a live show. Tickets in 1964 for that concert were $4.50, which is, a pretty good sum of money to go see somebody in 1964. 1967, The Doors were banned from the Ed Sullivan Show today on this date in 67 because Jim Morrison broke his agreement with the show's producer. Morrison said before the performance that he would sing the words, "Girl, we couldn't get much higher," from Light My Fire, but did anyway. The Doors also performed their new single, People Are Strange. In 1978, on this date, Queen, the video for Queen's single, Bicycle Race, was filmed at Wimbledon Stadium, and it featured 65 naked female professional models racing around the stadium's track on bicycles, which had been hired for the day. The rental company was reported to have requested payment for all the saddles when they found out how the bikes had been used. Nowadays, you could actually put all those saddle seats up for sale on eBay and raise a whole bunch of money because a bunch of perverts would pay for them.
They buy used underwear.
That's what I'm saying.
Had stories about that. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be smelling it up.
It's a sick world out there.
91 on this date, Guns N' Roses sold over 4 million copies of Guns N' Roses Your Illusion 1 and Your Illusion 2. They were simultaneously released for retail sale, making it the largest ship out in pop history in the U.S. I don't know if I would call it pop, but whatever. If you want to name it that, that's fine. 2011 on this date, Adele went to number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with Someone Like You. The track also was number 1 in Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Finland, France, Italy, Poland, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. You think she's somewhat successful? She's super talented, man. And congratulations to her. She looks fantastic. She lost all that weight. That's usually what happens when you get divorced. Backstreets in 2019, the Backstreet Boys. You got to listen to this. I don't know if you knew about this, but Nick Carter filed a restraining order against his brother Aaron after the Backstreet Boys star allegedly threatened to kill his pregnant wife and unborn child. The order stated that the troubled singer must stay away 100 feet away from Nick, his wife, children, and other family members. Confirming the order against him on Twitter, Aaron Carter wrote, "So my brother just got a restraining order against me, and I was just served. LOL."
Man, and we thought there was a problem with the Oasis brothers.
How about that, huh? How about that?
That takes it to another level, bro.
That's crazy, right? That right there, you know, somebody's toasted. Stevie Nicks. If you're a Stevie Nicks fan, I saw this tour. She has announced a new concert film set for screens. It'll be 2 nights only in October. It was filmed in 2017 during her 24 Karat Gold tour. The concert sees the iconic singer delivering beloved hits and rare gems throughout her storied career as both a solo artist and from Fleetwood Mac. The film's set list includes classic songs like Rihanna, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, Edge of 17, Stand Back, and Landslide. The singer also provides rare insight to her music throughout the movie, discussing the inspirations behind many of her legendary songs. The 24 Karat Gold tour was my all-time favorite tour, she proclaimed in the press release. I not only got to sing my songs, but was able to tell stories for the first time. I love having the opportunity to share this concert with my fans. And she sounded great. I saw that concert. If I'm correct, this is the one that Chrissy Hynde opened up that I saw. Now, I'll tell you this. I'll be honest. Chrissy Hynde blew her away. Okay? She was great. Loved her. Tells you how good Chrissy Hynde was. I sat back and I told my wife, I go, this woman's voice is just like from the heavens. Like Stevie sounded good, but Chrissy Hynde's voice, wow. Oh, my Lord. That was absolutely phenomenal, dude. Okay? Bonnaroo Festival, they are going to have a live stream going on, a free live stream. Let me add that. Metallica, Dave Matthews, and friends, along with the Beastie Boys' final performance, are 3 of the major acts that will be part of Bonnaroo's Festival Virtual Reality, a free 3-night live YouTube broadcast. The live streaming event will be taking place on September 24, 25, and 26, starting at 4:30 Central, which is 3:30 our time. Each day, actually 5:30, I'm sorry, our time. Each day on the official Bonnaroo YouTube channel. The broadcast will feature 13 archive performances from artists like Metallica, Dave Matthews, The White Stripes, James Brown, My Morning Jacket, Alabama Shakes, and more. The event will also feature the premiere stream of the Beastie Boys' historical final concert performance that took place at the Bonnaroo Festival on June 12th of 2009. And they've got a slew of other artists that are performing. I'm not going to read all the names, but I gave you some of the big ones. So if you're interested, I think that's a pretty good show to see. Plus, you get to see the Beastie Boys the last time that they performed at that festival. Also, if you're an Ozzy fan, Ozzy has now announced a 40th anniversary expanded edition of his landmark debut album, Blizzard of Oz. And also on the way are 2 live DVDs, all of which will arrive September 18th, just 2 days shy of the record's actual anniversary. On top of one of metal's all-time greatest albums comes a set of new bonus tracks, most of which were culled from the 2012 Record Store Day Ozzy Live release, which was never made available in digital formats. 6 of the 7 new bonus tracks are taken from the live effort, which was recorded on the Blizzard of Oz tour, and the other is a live jam from the Mr. Crowley EP, also previously unavailable digitally. So There you go. Live and Loud was originally released in 93, features an assortment of Ozzy recorded 91 and 92 songs on the Prince of Darkness tours, and a whole bunch. I mean, it's sick. So if you're interested in it, I'm not going to read all the songs that are all on the CDs and the DVDs, but it is impressive. And if you're an Ozzy fan, it's probably a must-have. Okay? Apparently, Kanye West got locked out of Twitter. Did you see that? Did you see what Kanye West did?
And how did he react?
Well, Kanye West has been given a temporary restriction on his Twitter account because he tweeted personal details of Forbes' chief content officer. He put out his phone number.
I hate people that do that.
The rapper revealed the details in a series of tweets on Wednesday evening shortly after posting a bizarre clip of him urinating on one of his Grammy Awards.
Oh, that really classy maneuver by him.
Yeah, that Kim K must be having a lot of fun with him at home. Prior to posting the clip, he expanded his tirade against the label, ownership of musicians, master recordings, this time adding that Prince and Michael Jackson were killed by music and media industries. We used to diss Michael Jackson. The media made us call him crazy. Then they killed him, West wrote in one tweet. In another post, he posted a photo of Prince writing, let's get it big, bro. You and Michael passed so we can live. Kanye West.
I guess he doesn't recall him wearing a bathrobe, thinking he's, Hugh Hefner-like to court, correct?
Whatever, bro. I don't know.
You remember that?
Yes. At Tipo
Yeah,
Tá Loco.
Yeah.
He is absolutely crazy. Okay?
I can understand why they're pulling the show, man.
One more thing in music that I forgot to mention, because we talked about Dougie Fresh today.
Yes, in Victoria.
Today's Dougie Fresh's birthday, born in 1966 in Barbados. So
happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, for the other Dougie Fresh. And I have not seen Dougie Fresh on the chat board. He did not answer back on my DM that I told him to open up a GoFundMe account that will help him out. And those of you out there that had the idea, and if you can, like I said, because I haven't seen him answer me yet. Let me see if let me check my DM again. He has not, but if you want to reach out to him, Flu3, right? I think it is. Is that how it is? Is it?
I
Yes.
remember the flu.
3.
Okay.
So FLU number 3. Okay. That is Dougie Fresh. He's in Pensacola, and he's hurting, man. So we gotta help the man out there. Okay. I was by the way, Major League Soccer tweeted out, because they're going to be in 30 teams in 2 years. They will add one this year, and they will add 3 more. Right? Yes, they're at 27. No. Yeah, one more next year, and then 2 more after that. It'll get to 30. Okay. And so one of them is St. Louis. St. Louis City SC just surpassed in 24 hours 50,000 season ticket deposits. And so I tweeted out, because idiots for years, soccer will never make it in this country. And it's like, okay, I get it. You hate the sport. You don't like to watch it. That's fine. That doesn't mean everybody else hates it. And it doesn't mean it can't grow. And it's growing because young people are a part of soccer. That's why. Okay? I get it. People my age and older, they're not as big soccer fans. Like, I'm a rare person. I'm one of the few at this age that actually love soccer, and I don't mind watching. I love watching it. I got no problem with it. But they're going to have 30 teams in this country. And their attendance per game is outstanding already at this point. And it's only going to get bigger and better, because that's what's going to end up happening with the league. And people like our owner, Jorge Mas, is going to fast forward this whole thing on making this league grow. That's That's going to be pretty fun. But I just saw that, and it's, 30,000. That is
no 50,000 deposit.
I mean, 50,000. That is amazing. And
Deposits for season tickets.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's wow. You're not talking about a game. You're talking about for the season.
Yep.
That's a lot, bro.
I know.
That's competing very well with Atlanta
and Seattle. That also has a huge.
Just doing the math. When you mentioned the Beatles, $450 a ticket. Okay.
Yes.
$150,000. That means that they got the gate from 33,330 people. Then the promoters and everybody else get. But those 33,300, that 450 is ours to pay for that one show.
That's crazy, bro. I saw the Tubes in the 80s with Scandal, the Producers, and Wall of Voodoo. Wow. That's a great concert, bro.
Pulling some old classic
Producers.
hard. Yeah, man.
What's he got that I ain't got? He's got you. That's what he's got. That's what he's got. The Producers. I remember that. Wall of Voodoo, Scandal, Goodbye to You. Yeah. She was a hottie, bro. Total hottie. From Scandal. Patti Smythe. And the Tubes. That's a great concert, Tremolio. That's a fantastic concert right there. Let's see. Wall of Voodoo had some, so Super Boom is in it. He likes it. Tony Zagala says, I remember buying the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 cassette tapes at Sound Warehouse on Flagler. Nice Sound Warehouse. That is classic. Let's see. What else do we have on the chat board? I thought Brad Gillis did good filling in after Randy died. He did. Brad Gillis, Jakey Lee. Ozzy is never, Zach Wilde. The guy's never lacked a great guitarist. Tony Iommi. He's always been paired up with great guitarists over his entire career, man.
Drummers.
Yeah.
Bass, it doesn't.
Yeah.
He's like Robert Plant. If you're with that guy, you are a badass.
Yeah. No, but Ozzy's had an eye for that. He's always had a great guitarist, known or unknown.
Think about
because obviously Jakey Lee was very little known, and so was Randy. They kind of became what they were because they joined Ozzy. Because Randy was with Quiet Riot, and it wasn't like, people knew Randy as a household name, and Jakey Lee was with the Dragon Red Dragon Cartel? Was that was after, right? Was Badlands? No, wait a minute. It might have been Jakey Lee. I got to look up Jakey Lee. Where was he before Ozzy? I think his bands that he formed were after Ozzy.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, either way, whoever it was, even Brad Gillis,
look,
he always put somebody there that was
think about
pretty
when
impressive.
Brad goes to do Speak of the Devil, and like we've talked about, that's to head off Black Sabbath doing Live Evil and him getting word about that. Dude, Brad Gillis is in the middle of Night Ranger at their pinnacle. And he drops and takes off to go be with Ozzy. That's pretty big because that's your band. Him and Jeff Watson were the guitarists.
Right.
And remember, he left in the middle of that to go do Speak of the Devil for Ozzy.
Well, this is how it went. Now I got it here. Lee headed a band called Teaser, purportedly named after the debut solo album of Tommy Bolin, of whom Lee was a avowed fan. Teaser was the official house band at San Diego's first teen nightclub in 1980. Lee then joined a San Diego hard rock band called Mickey Rat, which after later relocating to Los Angeles became the glamour metal band Rat. They released a single, Dr. Rock and Driving on E, which was given away for free to fans at the live shows. Their song Tell the World was included on the original pressing of the influential first Metal Massacre album in '82, an album which featured Metallica's first hit, Hit the Lights. Lee soon left Rat to join Rough Cut, who were at the time produced by Ronnie James Dio, and managed by his wife, Wendy. After hearing Lee in Rough Cut in 82, Dio invited Lee to join his new band, Dio, which he was forming after departing Black Sabbath. Lee accepted, though his time in Dio's band was short-lived. According to Vinny Appice, there were rehearsals with Lee and Dio and recordings, and those rehearsals still exist. Lee claims to have written the main riff to Don't Talk to Strangers, which would later appear on the Holy Diver album, and Dio wanted him to play simply block chords that wouldn't trample his vocals. When Ozzy Osbourne sought a permanent replacement for Rhodes, he came to Los Angeles to audition lead guitarist, bassist Dana Strum, who had recommended Rhodes to Osbourne in '79, this time recommended Lee for the job. Osbourne was torn between Lee and Dokken guitarist George Lynch. Though Osbourne is said to have initially chosen Lynch, he soon changed his mind and Lee became his full-time guitarist for the next 5 years. So George Lynch almost became, see what I mean? It's Ozzy has always, man, he has an eye for guitarists, dude. Always has. So there you go. And that's what I thought, that after Ozzy is when he then formed Badlands and obviously Red Dragon Cartel and all that. That came after. That's what I thought. But it's been so long, you don't remember everything. You know what I mean? I could be wrong.
Rudy Sarzo is a pretty good bassist.
Yeah, no, of course.
And Tommy Aldridge is a pretty good drummer.
Yeah, but his history with that is not even close to guitars.
I know, but I'm just don't slight him. He's got an eye for bassists and drummers too.
Well, it's Ozzy. I mean, it's not. It's
Right.
like Stevie Wonder or whatever. You know, Steve Winwood. I mean, whatever. If you're gonna play with a great guy like that, you're not gonna be a slouch.
You have to be. You can bring in a lot to the table.
GP Trap Hewitt, as always, following, and he says, don't always get the chance to listen to you live. Sends in a super chat. Thank you, GP. Appreciate you, my brother. Keep Batman alive, GP. I know you love your Batman. And Jesse Minneapolis also chimes in with a super chat. Jesse says, I agree with you on that Stevie tour from a couple of years ago. Stevie was great, but Chrissie Hynde blew it up. I know. It was like, I sat there and I had goosebumps throughout her whole show. Chrissie Hynde, her voice was so powerful, so clean, and it sounded as fresh as it did in the 80s. You know, it was awesome. She takes care of herself too. You look at Chrissie Hynde, and she's in great shape, man. She's as skinny as she was in the 80s. You know what I mean? So she's always taking care of herself, and to that,
Is that a bit of a slight at Stevie Nicks?
I'm just saying. You
know, I know you're just saying, but I'm just getting it clarified.
I don't just, Stevie could lay off a couple of burgers. It happens.
Stop sitting on the couch and eating bonbons.
It happens to all of us. You know what I mean? It happens to me too. But it doesn't happen to Chrissie Hynde.
You've stayed away from the glazed donuts, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Bark at the Moon and The Ultimate Sin are my favorite Ozzy albums. Really? Wow. Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman.
Diary of a Madman.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, those are two masterpieces.
Look, I gotta say, Bark at the Moon, man.
Those are great albums,
bro. It's a go-to kind of like
Ultimate Sin is a hell of an album too. I have it. It's a great album.
Oh yeah. What was the start of the video? The girl and seeing her, the look and the glowing eyes on the billboard. I could remember the video.
Yeah,
that's a great song, man. I love that song from Ozzy. But you know what? I look at Bark at the Moon, bro. It's like Rush Signals. You want to go to Exit Stage Left and hear the live. You want to go to Moving Pictures? Well, bro, Signals is strong. I'm right there with the Bark at the Moon.
Yeah, Bark at the Moon is a great album. Jay says, can't wait until we can see Inter Miami live in their new stadium in Fort Lauderdale. I'm with you, man. I am with you 1,000%. I mean, I get to see them live at the stadium, but I want to see it with fans. I'm with you. I can't wait to see the supporter groups, whether it's Vice City, the Siege, Southern Legion, just packing the west stands, or the north stands, I'm sorry, is what it is, because they actually built this stadium the right way. They built it north-south instead of east-west is how Lockhart was. So the damn sun, when it was setting on the west, and your boy would be right in your freaking eyes, and you're like, really? That's how you designed this stadium? It's like, come on. So we built the stadium the right way there, where they built it north-south. And that way the sun going east-west doesn't affect you nearly as much.
You know what's built like that? Homestead.
Speedway?
Think about the Speedway. It's east-west.
It is east-west.
And in the afternoon, man, that sun going down in front of the north side of the state.
If you're driving.
Right into your eyes, man.
Yeah.
You're blind for a period during the race.
Yeah. That might be something you want to look at when you're building things down in South Florida.
Taking into account the sun location. Look at our 595 and 112, 836. All those are east-west. Man, if you're driving down, and if any of you have done it in the afternoon, 595, 112, or 836, man, the sun's right in your eyes, bro. It's bad.
Yeah. By the way, Marlins and Red Sox are scoreless in the 5th inning right now. So a nice outing for Urania. 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 6 Ks so far. But again, former Marlin Nathan Eovaldi, 4 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 5 Ks. So the former Marlin pitching against his former team, also doing well. That's a dude that I still never trust to this day. Nathan Eovaldi. Jay says, we will see the resurrection of the Miami Ultras. I don't think we'll see the resurrection of the Miami Ultras, but that's a throwback. I got a lot of music homework to do. Time to listen to some Ozzy. Damn right. Nothing wrong with that, dude. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? Now, man of 1,005 holds, are you saying that because you don't know a lot about the Ozzy catalog? Or are you saying that because it's been a while and you have not dedicated enough to the Ozzy catalog lately? Is that what it is? Now that I'm thinking about it, I might just get in the car and crank up Mr. Crowley on the way home. Mr. Crowley.
Yeah, see, I was going the other way. I was thinking about Rock and Roll Rebel.
Okay.
Oh,
I love Mr. Crowley. Just the keyboard, how it builds up and everything. Oh, it's so good, man. It is such a great song.
See, for me, the song that just, man, Over the Mountain.
Oh,
the drums. Oh,
double bass.
Man.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Sometimes it is so good. No doubt about that. 786-322-1105. By the way, Bill, did you see what Maya Moore ended up doing?
No.
You know that she ended up getting a man freed from jail, right?
Okay, yes.
You remember she took off from basketball?
Yes, she did.
And she helped a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Irons get freed from prison. Well, she married him.
What?
Yeah, so the story goes...
So she had a personal interest in getting him out.
Well, I think that the personal interest developed along the way.
Okay.
She says, just dropped a bombshell. She married the man she helped free from prison. Moore stepped away from the league in 19 and 20 to focus on social justice issues, starting with freeing Jonathan Irons. 40-year-old Irons was serving a 50-year prison sentence stemming from a 98 burglary and assault conviction in Missouri, despite no real evidence proving his guilt. Irons was only 16 at the time of the conviction. Moore says she met Irons when she was 18 through a prison ministry program and grew close to him over the years while fighting for his freedom. When he was released from prison in July, Moore was there waiting for him, and they tied the knot shortly after. We wanted to announce today that we are super excited to continue the work that we are doing together, but doing it as a married couple. We got married a couple of months ago. We're excited to continue this new chapter in our lives together. Moore explained the growth of their relationship, saying, over the last 13 years, we just developed a friendship and just entered into this huge battle to get him home. And just over time, it was pretty clear what the Lord was doing in our hearts. And now we're sitting here today starting a whole new chapter together. And so it's actually, I think it's a great story. You know what I mean? Because she's doing something out of the kindness of her heart, and then she ends up falling in love with the man. And, you know, obviously for him, she's like an angel from above that has come to save him and free him from something that he wasn't supposed to be in jail for. And so all of a sudden now they're both married, and you know, it's an interesting
No, that's
story.
really
It's-
cool. I definitely see a movie in the
for
not
sure.
so distant future,
Yeah,
right?
that's a movie right there, dude.
I agree.
That's a movie right there. Okay. Now on the flip side,
Who's getting divorced?
no, not divorced.
Okay.
Not divorced, but Tyrod Taylor is dating somebody kind of interesting, Drea Michelle. The 35-year-old model shared that she and Tyrod Taylor have been going out for a while. And so, you know, put out the pictures there. And, hey, listen, I give Tyrod credit. Drea is a good-looking woman, obviously. But she does come with some drama with her prior relationships. So I would just say with Tyrod, be careful, my brother. That's all. Okay? Good-looking girl, no doubt about it. Smoking body. But that's one. I don't know if you knew about that, but Drea Michelle and Tyrod Taylor are dating now. Jim Carrey is returning to Saturday Night Live. Did you hear about it?
Yes, I did.
He's going to play Joe Biden, dude. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be fun. I love that. That is just going to be...
He probably hasn't done this type of thing since...
It's a while.
What was the show? Help me, man. The Fly Girls.
Oh, you mean Living Color?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. He hasn't done anything like this.
Yeah, no.
Since then.
Yeah, no, sitcom, what is it, stand-up, sketch comedy. Sketch comedy.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it, yes. So Alec Baldwin will continue to be Trump for the 46th season of Saturday Night Live, which, again, reminds me how old I am that this is 46 years in. Jim Carrey signed on to play Joe Biden. Maya Rudolph is also coming back.
Yep.
So you're going to get some of the same people that and I didn't know this, okay, as this many people, that is. Woody Harrelson played Biden 3 times in his stint. Jason Sudeikis also played Biden on SNL during Barack Obama's presidency. What else do we have here? And John Mulaney also did one in an episode too. So they've had several people play Joe Biden. Now they're going to have Jim Carrey. So that's going to be fantastic. The SNL skits over the years that have just made fun of whoever it's been in office. I don't care, you know, if you guys want to get butthurt if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. As you all know, I don't care about that, and I slam both. So I'm an equal opportunity ripper of both sides. But anyway, over the years, the SNL skits of all these characters has been absolutely awesome, man. I got to give them a lot of credit for that. Did you guys see Ed Ogeron said that most of his players have had COVID already, which is kind of crazy. He goes, most of our players that have already caught COVID-19, and he's really hoping that they don't catch it again. He goes, not all of our players, but most of our players have caught it. I think that hopefully they won't catch it again, and hopefully they're not. That's not at our games. Orgeron said that just 2 weeks ago, most of his offensive line was decimated by the coronavirus. We had everybody on the offensive line except 2 or 3 guys were out. We couldn't go any team. We just adjusted very well. He says he believes the program has a good handle on the virus, but told his team that everyone needs to stay ready in case someone goes down. So I bring this up because it was just reported that there was a Chiefs fan that actually tested positive for the coronavirus. And so, now all of a sudden you've got that going on with the Chiefs fan testing for coronavirus. And then players, 10 Chiefs fans, by the way, were told to quarantine after contact with him. So the Chiefs had just under 16,000 fans on Thursday's game at the Texans, and 10 of them have been told to quarantine because the health department, after another fan tested positive for COVID-19. The Chiefs said they worked with the department to document how the infected person spent their time at Arrowhead Stadium, and we were able to identify the other fans who were in close proximity to them during the game. They should have video, right? The individuals and individual groups were seated in the lower level of the stadium. By design, the stadium's COVID protocol plan limited potential exposure to single seating zones within the stadium. All staff with known interaction with the positive case were required to wear personal protective equipment, including masks. Additionally, and the protocols in place at the stadium require all attendees to be wearing masks inside the stadium. Compliance with protocols remain a key component to making this plan effective. We appreciate the professionalism and diligence of the health department and will continue to support its efforts in this matter throughout the season. So, and this is only 16,000, so you kind of limit it, but that's the problem, that we can't get to the point where we stuff these stadiums, and there's going to be a bunch of people in there with COVID, and then the problem is, at least in 16,000, you've got them spread out, and you have security spread out in those sections, and they can at least watch those sections and be on top of people that don't have their masks on. Okay? And we'll see how this all works out, but now you're already – this is why I can't go to any of these kind of events.
Watching a lot of the college games over the weekend, just like you would figure, a lot of those kids –
not wearing masks.
Of course. But I do know, like, specifically, obviously, because, my dad with Notre Dame, that they were told that whatever fraternity, whatever dorm, you go to this section. You all stay together. They did have it set up that, and I hope other schools are doing the same. Stay within your group. You know what I mean? But, again, we're talking kids, man. If I'm dating the girl that's over there at that hall, guess where I'm at, bro?
Of course. Of course. That's what's going to happen, man.
The other thing is, here, you tell me what I cannot do. What is the first thing I'm going to go and do?
Right.
Exactly what you just told me not to. I assure you of that.
Yep. Let's see. Remember Fire Marshal Bill? I would agree with that. I remember that. I love Fire Marshal Bill. My favorite Ozzy song is The Road to Nowhere and Love Mama, I'm Coming Home. Good songs. What else do we have here? For me, SNL died in the early 2000s. Okay. You know what? I get what you're saying, but it does have its moments still. There are times where it is funny as hell. So they still have some good characters on SNL that are still pretty good. There are times where it's not as good. I agree. There's no doubt about it. But I'll give some of the new characters that they have their moments. They have their moments where you do laugh. So I'll give them hell, just Alec Baldwin alone doing Trump is always worth watching, no matter what. Okay?
Saturday night still, obviously we're going to compare it to all this, and
you can't.
It's not fair, but it's still an entertaining watch.
Yeah. There's a lot of times it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I wouldn't complain about that. Let's see. Big O and Bill, I took out all the speakers out of a 2006 Range Rover and built a speaker box. My shop freaking cranks now. I just wasn't doing meth and no seeds. Turn it to 11.
That's great.
Crank it, baby. Crank it. Osmosis is an underrated album. Listen, Osmosis is a very good album, actually. All right. Well, it is time to wrap it up here on the program.
You know, the greatest album for me, for Ozzy, We Sold Our Souls, Black Sabbath, because of all the different Black Sabbaths on it.
Okay, yeah. Or
We
I
Sold
see
Our
what you're
Souls
saying.
for rock and roll.
But that's not an Ozzy.
But Ozzy, that is Ozzy Black Sabbath.
Right.
You know, and I mean, as far as an album Ozzy associated with, for me, that is got to be my favorite Ozzy associated album.
No, I'm still going Blizzard of Oz. Blizzard of Oz.
Over that?
Yeah, I mean that's Black Sabbath. If you're
Greatest
talking about,
hits. You're talking greatest.
Yeah. That's the case.
No, well, I'm trying to get the biggest piece of meat I can.
That's like saying "Standing on the Beach" is the greatest Cure album, and it's like,
hands
well,
down, it is.
But that's a
It
best
is.
of.
It is though.
It's a best of. It's not an album.
Go get what is it?
The head
Blue
on
Water?
the door. The head on the door is my favorite. My favorite Cure. Cure album would be "The Head on the Door," not "Standing on the Beach."
So you can't say Substance for New
Right.
Order
Yeah.
or Depeche 101.
Right. No, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that, bro. Can't do that. That's not the real album. You know.
Great albums nonetheless.
Let's thank our super chatters: Anthony Perez, GP Trap Hewitt, Jesse Minneapolis. As always, thank you all out there. As always, for supporting our show. Give us a like. Also share the link with folks out there. Always appreciate it.
What's going on in there?
Super chat.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
Super chat.
If he
super chat.
We'll all
super chat.
It'll be anarchy. Out of my hands.
Yes, it is. It's out of our hands. We thank, of course, Steve Ostrov, all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood for making it nice and easy. Herbie joining us earlier on the show. Thank all of you out there for tuning in, downloading, watching, super chatting, however it is you support our show. We love you for it. Bill and Philippe doing their work on audio and video. Tomorrow we'll be at Craig's Inn, Acura of Pembroke Pines, and we'll be out there starting off at 11 a.m. So come on by and say hi at 15601 Pines Boulevard. We'll see you guys there tomorrow, and we'll catch you here on the air tomorrow, right here on the Big O Show. Be good.
Go Heat.